things sports.
Yes, yes, yes.
With plenty of nonsense in between.
Oh, look, here comes our fearless producer.
Gwynn and Chris starts right now on 97.3 The Fan.
Hey, what's happening in San Diego? Great to be with you. Happy Monday to you. Don't forget, don't hate on Mondays. It's 1/7 of your life. You might as well enjoy the next few hours with us. A little Gwynn and Chris on 97.3 The Fan. Hanging out until about 5:30 today. Then we'll send it on out to Petco Park. Sam Levitt will have the Padres pregame show. Tonight the Padres take on the Washington Nationals, first of a 3-game series.
Sorry,
Padres,
who is that?
The Washington Nationals.
sound like my
Washington.
Yeah,
You sound like my grandma.
Going to get a little Washington. The Padres did all right against the Brew Crew. Took 3 out of 4, although they did fall yesterday 6-2. Tony Gwynn Jr. back from a stint on the TV side of things. Will be returning to the radio broadcast booth tonight. Tony, all in all, not bad for the Padres. They take 4 out of 5 if you go back to the Philly game, and that's a nice way to answer that 5-game losing streak. Although I don't think any of us should be surprised, because whenever they fall below 500, they come right back to it, and vice versa.
Yeah, no, they might even get a couple over.
They might
start to tease you a little bit.
Tease us, yes.
But to this point, this is how it's been, and so it's nothing really new. I think what's new is that they continue to do this dance with the new injuries that are affecting the position players now. So that's the only thing different. Yet they're still doing it. Lose 5, win 4. Would lose 4, wins 5 of 6.
Yep.
And it's just that is how it's been. And there's been some good things that have popped up in the midst of it, right? I mean, Randy Vasquez has thrown the ball pretty well. He hasn't been able to quite figure out how to get beyond that 5th, but I think it's coming based on what we've seen. I mean, it was unfortunate Michael King had that second. It was really an unlucky second inning.
He really was. I mean, everyone's going to say we're sticking up for him, but we are going to stick up for him when it's bloop, bloop, bloop like that.
There was very low exit velocity.
Yeah.
Very low in that, and I think 4 of the 5 hits, or however many they ended up. Maybe it was 4 of the 6 hits. But they get that 5, and he settles in, and he gives them 6, which was imperative based on how beat up this bullpen is right now. And when I say beat up, they've had to be used quite a bit. I mean, outside of King, Waldron twice, and Vasquez once, nobody has reached 5 innings. And Vasquez got just to 5, and so the bullpen is having to cover all of that. The 2 starts of 4 2/3, the 1 start of 3 2/3, the other start of 4. That's a lot of innings covered, and they're in the midst of 26 out of 27. Yet they're still finding a way to win ball games, and I think the hope is everybody gets healthy, they go.
Well, right now they are back at the beloved 500 mark, and I did count it up today, Tony, because that's the kind of boring life that I lead. I have time to count stuff up like this. It is the 25th time already this year that their record has been exactly 500. So
25?
Wow.
Yeah, 1-1, 2-2, 4-4, 7-7. I mean,
this is how you did it? Oh my Lord.
They've been 500 25 times. I mean, that's really a lot. And the most they've been over 500 is 3 games. And the most they've been under 500 is 4 games. So the whole season has been played in that little area there. And
the only thing that would be more impressive than that is if you came back tomorrow and told us if they lead the league in most times at 500.
Oh, if I go through every team?
that would be incredible, Chris.
That would be the only thing that was more impressive.
Yeah,
I think you should do it.
Don't tempt me. But there's a pretty good chance I'm not going to do that. So I'll leave that up to the Elias sports people to figure that out. But, yeah, it seems like we wake up every morning they're 500. That's because they are. And, we'll see what happens. We'll talk about this national series coming up. And, look, they have to go back to facing left-handed starters. We can't avoid talking about that a little bit. They'll get Patrick Corbin tonight, who statistically is one of the worst left-handed starters in baseball, although he makes more money than everybody. Hopefully the Padres can finally break out of that malaise. But you said it, Tony. There were some good things over the weekend. Cronenworth had a monster stretch there, right? 5 for 5 one game following a walk-off homer. Jackson Merrill continues to just amaze and delight. 12 extra base hits in the last 17 games. And even when he's making outs, the ball's going to the warning track. You almost can't take a right-hander out and replace him with a left-hander against Jackson Merrill anymore because he's hitting lefties, I almost want to say, Tony, with more authority than he's hitting righties right now. And it's just been a delight to watch him go recently.
That's interesting. Let's look what his numbers are here.
Overall, I think he's still down against
he's
lefties,
up,
but recently he's been.
To your point, it's up though. He was below 200 there. Now he's up over 200, 217 to be exact.
Yeah.
I think he's just getting better. I mean, this is the track you want. He's kind of been able to just be him, no added pressure. It's not like he has the pressure like Toddy had, right? Where he came up and let's be real, everybody was expecting Toddy to be the savior. And quite frankly, he felt like he was, right? But he's been able to come and just play, right? The Manny, Toddy, Profar has even stepped into that light now. Crone, Arise now that we have it. I mean, you're going to all 5 of those guys before you get to Jackson, right? And I think that's allowed him to just learn at his own pace. I think the Padres have done a good job of giving him a break here and there, but not completely like taking him out against lefties. And I think that's why we've seen the improvement. If they're going to give him a day, it might be against a lefty, but for the most part, he's out there. He's been wonderful, man. He's doing such a fantastic job, and he's handling it to this point in stride like you'd want a 21-year-old to handle it. And it seems like he's having a blast.
And we're having a blast watching this guy. I don't know. I mean, Bradford Doolittle, who I pay very little attention to Mr. Doolittle, but I do.
Thanks, Chris.
You're welcome.
We'll never get Bradford Doolittle on again.
Well, we're never going to have him on anyway. He's from ESPN Plus, so I have to pay extra money for his articles. But he has his first half awards of the season, and so I had to look at this and see where Jackson Merrill fell in his Rookie of the Year balloting. And it's better than where he has been, but I still don't think it's high enough. He's number 4 on the list. 2 of the guys he has ahead of Jackson Merrill just left town. Brian Hudson, the pitcher for the Brewers, and Joey Ortiz, the third baseman for the Brewers. Neither of whom I think are better than Jackson Merrill, nor do I think Yoshinobu Yamamoto's been better than Jackson Merrill. He's on the injured list right now. So those are the 3 guys they have ahead of him. So I think Jackson's got a pretty good shot to be Rookie of the Year. And it's early, and I don't want to start heaping some pressure on this guy, but that's how good he's been, Tony, and it's just been fun to watch him. So we'll just take that.
It's a good thing for us that Doolittle doesn't actually –
he doesn't have a vote, probably.
Do the voting on this. And if he does, he's just one voter. So,
right, yeah.
I find it hard to believe as many people as come into town and ask about Jackson that, people don't know what he's doing right now.
Yeah,
maybe outside of Mr. Doolittle.
They have to. If the Nationals are coming to town and they're not paying any attention to Jackson Merrill, that's on them. And that live at your own peril. Because right now he's swinging a great bat. I will say that Jack Doolittle did rate as his most surprising player the first half, Jerkson Profar. So there is that. And speaking of Profar, Tony, I'm really I'm watching this guy play right now. Again, he got a big double and scored a run yesterday. Sat out Saturday. I just am worried about this guy's knee right now, and I don't know if I should be overly concerned. I don't know if he's, I don't know where the Padres are on this, but it's making me nervous almost every time he swings the bat right now that knee's going to buckle on him, and I hope he kind of survives this little stretch. And I don't know how this thing gets healthier, right? It's tendonitis in the knee, so I don't know if it gets any better. I'm just worried right now. Are you seeing the same thing, or are you comfy with him?
I'm not worried about his knee giving on the swing. I'm more worried about when he's hitting the ball in the gaps, him having to really go, or having to score from second to home. Those seem to be the moments where he has discomfort. Running for it hard in the outfield. Those seem like the time. It's not in the box that I see anything. It's just after he hits it and he has to run. That's why when he hit the ball in the gap, I was like, great, he can just kind of jog. He can coast to it. It's just when he has to turn it up that it looks like, man, that doesn't look great. And so the conundrum here is that, man, an all-star break would be great for him. But
he's not going to have one.
He's not going to have one.
Yeah.
And, maybe he'll be okay with getting to an all-star game and not playing. But I find it hard to believe a guy like Jerickson who has openly said that he wants to be an all-star is just going to give that up. I can't imagine it. And so – it's one of those things. He's just going to have to we just got to hope that he can get through it and that I think the trick is getting it to calm down. Right now, it definitely seems like it's inflamed and irritated. And when it's like that, it's hard for you to, do what it – because remember, he's been dealing with it all year, but it seems like last few weeks it's kind of been irritated a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree.
He's had to miss time because of it. And
Is there something to it, too, Tony, swinging the bat? I mean, you need your legs to hit for power. I'm not going to say that the ball he hit yesterday might have been a home run if he was 100% healthy.
No.
Maybe it just would have been short, but could that be something or no?
No, I don't think so. I don't see any of his power changing because of the knee. I just see when he's running, he's had a lot of discomfort.
All right.
I think that's why he's been able to maintain his numbers despite it being not feeling great.
Yep, he's still hitting a good 320. So, keep it going, Jerks. And also keep it going, Matt Waldron. He starts tonight for the Padres. We had him on Friday. It was one of my favorite interviews we've had this season, our Friar Friday interview. If you missed it, you can go back on 97.3thefansd.com and listen to Matt Waldron. But pitching tonight. And he's on a hot streak, 8 consecutive games. He's allowed 2 or fewer runs. So let's hope that keeps rolling. And, it's kind of interesting because if this was April or May, everybody would be like, oh, no, Waldron's pitching tonight. But now it's, all right, Waldron's pitching tonight. It's funny how things change,
He's kind
it?
of the talk of baseball right now in regards to his knuckleball because I see articles all over the place like, who's the next guy to try the knuckleball? And they have a picture of Matt Waldron. So he's doing good things. Great things.
Feeling great about Matt Waldron pitching tonight.
You should. I mean, he's been the best pitcher for the Padres in this rotation right now. I mean, I don't think there's any question. I mean, up until yesterday, Michael King could make a good case for it, but Waldron he's gotten deep. He's held some good offenses down. So I mean, it's a good thing he's going tonight. You just as a baseball man, there is a part of me that's like, man, at some point, he's not going to have a good one. You just hope it's not today.
Yes, that is true.
Well, and as you asked him several times about it on Friday, but when he doesn't have a good one, those other pitches are
he does.
They're
not
maybe not plus pitches, but they're good enough to get him through. So that's been one of the keys to his success, I think.
Real quick, switching before we go to break. Did you guys see SpaceX last night?
No.
Who?
Oh, have you ever seen one of these rockets been fired into space from the Vandenberg Air Force Base? Chris doesn't know. Tony knows, right?
I don't think so.
Okay, so I get out of my car last night.
Was this worth stopping the show for?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
real.
I get out of my car last night, and neighbors on the street are looking up in the sky, and I'm like, what are these people doing? And we all look up. We all thought it was an alien, Chris. I was hoping that one of you would see it to back me up on this, that it would look like an alien craft.
Didn't see it, buddy.
Okay, so
Didn't
this
see it.
makes no sense then. I should
Not
have
right now,
stopped
it's
the
not.
show. Someone says, what is he talking about?
No kidding.
So it wasn't worth stopping the show. I see.
No, I'm going to be quiet now.
Coming up, another segment of stupid science talk.
Hey! Hey! It looked like an alien craft.
I don't know. I'm feeling people probably tuned in for our thoughts on Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals, maybe even Game 3 of the College World Series, or maybe even Game 1 of the Padres and Nationals. That is stuff we will actually get to when we come back on Gwynn and Chris.
Tony Gwynn Jr. here. Spring is here, and your backyard
2:22 on the clock. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matt Scraby. Padres 3-game set incoming against.
By the way, that's not Matt Scraby. That's Dr. Matt Scraby.
Oh yeah,
scientist.
Yeah. Scientist Scraby
Watching,
here.
People are all
SpaceX.
over your case in the chat because you wasted time on our show to talk about something nobody even knows what it is.
You know, I've wasted time on this show that had much worse things.
That's true. You've actually wasted time on this show talking about sports, so this was good for you.
Yes. I did not know SpaceX was happening last night. Okay, everybody. Next time, before I bring it up, I will make sure I know that it's SpaceX.
Actually, nobody knew it was happening except.
Yeah, get your life together, buddy.
Get your life together. You would think I would have it together.
Understand what the show's about.
Yeah. On to the next. Padres Nationals 3-game set. Chris mentioned it before we went to break there.
Yeah.
3 straight lefties.
Yeah.
Incoming. One is statistically not been very good.
No.
You have another one that used to be a Padre.
Mackenzie Gore tomorrow, yeah.
Yes. And the third one I don't know much about at this point.
Yes, a rookie.
I know he's a lefty.
Yes, I do too. Patrick Corbin's pitching tonight, and let's start with him, Tony. He's 1-7, and his 5.60 ERA is the second worst in all of baseball among starters who qualify in that statistic. So he's eminently hittable. His walks and hits to innings pitch ratio is 1.60, which is the worst among any starter in all of baseball. But I caution you by telling you that the second worst in that statistic was Patrick Sandoval of the Angels. And he seemed to have very little trouble shutting down the Padres a couple of weeks ago in Anaheim. This whole thing about not hitting lefties has gotten to it's gotten to, a point where you've got to at least point it out.
I don't think we've not pointed it out.
And we've certainly pointed it out, right? I'm trying not to become repetitive is what I'm trying not to do. But it was April 24th, which is 2 months ago today, when they scored 4 earned runs against Ty Black of the Rockies in Denver. And that's the last time they've been able to, score more than 3 runs against a left-handed starting pitcher. It's been 22 guys in a row, 17 of which have held the Padres to 1 or 0 runs. And unfortunately, it's become a thing. They've got to have one night where they break out, and it doesn't seem that crazy difficult, Tony. I mean, it was funny at the game Thursday night, for example, against a right-handed starter of the Brewers, I think it was Bryce Wilson. They had 4 earned runs after the first 6 batters of the game. So it's doable. It boggles your mind that they haven't had one game where they put a couple of runners on and somebody's cleared the bases, but it just has not happened. So
yeah, that has been the reality. They have another chance to change it. The last 2 lefties they faced at home, they had some success against. Now
a little bit, yeah, not much, but a little. Yeah,
they were Oakland Athletics, and so there's that part, but. We'll see. Listen, it is what it is. They're not swinging the bat good against lefties at this point, whether you like it or not. They got to try to get better, especially if they're going to win this series, because they're going to play. They're going to face 3 of them.
They're going to win this series for sure. Yeah. And we've talked about this too, because every time when I bring it up, you say, what's the answer? And then I don't say I don't know, and then you say, of course, nobody's going to know the answer. And maybe part of the answer is not really paying a whole lot of attention to it, because you don't want it to get into everybody's head up there.
Yeah, no, that's probably a good point. At some point you just gotta go out there and play, and not think about it too much, because ultimately that does end up clouding the mind a little bit. And I think you're spot on with that. That would be their best. Now, can that be pulled off? I don't think we don't know. We won't know,
especially when there's yo-yos like me on the radio who keep bringing it up every time. So,
yo-yos.
Stop doing that.
That's part of it. I mean, not that that's part of it. No, that's not what I meant. That's not
No,
what I meant.
I know what you're saying.
What I'm saying is, it's part of it that we have to talk about it when it happens, right? So
Right.
that can't be the reason why it doesn't happen. I think, I hate to sound like a broken record, but it seems like we don't have this same approach, or we don't execute the approach against lefties the same way we do against righties, right? A lot of hits in the middle of the field. Against lefties, it's almost like, it's bonus time for the right-handers in that lineup. Where, typically when it's righty, there's some certain things you gotta have checks on to make sure you're right in order when the righty's on the mound. Make sure you're not pulling off. Make sure you're letting the ball get to you. With the lefties, when you don't see them that much, and it's the side where you get to feel more comfortable, if you will. What we've seen is a lot of weak fly balls against lefties, and so that's not who they are as an offense. Though, what do we see against righties? A lot more line drives, hard ground balls. They haven't really been able to do that against lefties. So, maybe trying to hone in on the approach that you normally have can be an answer. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see the lineup shortly. Sometimes you get it before we do, Tony, but haven't seen one yet. I know that
I'm having all kinds of computer issues right now.
So you may not see it before us then.
I don't know if the internet's working properly. My
yeah.
stuff isn't working properly. I know that.
It's the aliens from last night.
Stop.
Oh, stop.
The biggest, the biggest culprits against lefties are, Jake, who is a left-handed hitter, so that's at least a fair thing. He's 209. He has 1 home run against lefties. And Fernando, which is mind-boggling because he's always crushed left-handed pitching. But this year, 233 and only 1 home run against a left-handed pitcher all season long. That's almost impossible to believe. And I mentioned the lineup because I don't know if Fernando's ready to get back in there yet or not. But hopefully tonight's the night that they can get something going against Corbin, who, as we said, has been imminently hittable all year long. Like to get a little something happening here, get 2 out of 3, maybe sweep this series and go out on the road trip with a little room to spare. Talked about the 500 mark, Tony. The Padres are currently not only 500 overall, 41-41, but they are 21-21 at home. They are 19-19 on the road. And they are 1-1 in Korea, so
either way, once you get to
really 500.
Once you get to 500, I just think that you just win the series from that point on. You're even now. That'll in itself start to kind of move you away from 500. If you can get a sweep in there, great. But you're at 500. Get back to winning the series. We've had a couple of these bad boys. It's probably just a road trip that clouds it a little bit, right? Because you go 1-5 on a road trip, it'll have you feeling like it was just a terrible. You guys have been playing bad baseball for a while, but then you come home, you win 3 or 4, win this series, you got a great homestand.
And one more, if we can just make a nice ask of the Padre pitching staff over the next 3 days, starting with Matt Waldron tonight. Please do your best to get C.J. Abrams out. He's having a great year.
Yes, he is.
He's hitting .270. He's got 12 homers. He's got 11 stolen bases. He's got an .817 OPS. I really don't feel like sticking up for that trade for the next 3 days. So, do us all, us talk show hosts, a favor. And
I agree.
Have CJ have a tough series.
You better get your words together then, buddy.
I know, because he's been hard to get out.
Because, typically when a dude gets to face an old team.
Oh, I know.
You know how
he's
it
been
goes.
great. He has been great this year. So, yikes.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, let's get to break. When we come back, Bryce Miller joins us next. Talk some Padre baseball. More Gwynn and Chris on the other side.
Gwynn and Chris.
All right, welcome back to the talk show. Sports or, science, whichever way you want to go. Chris Ello, Tony Gwynn Jr., Mr. Scraby is always looking up in the sky.
Why?
You want to be the guy that
Always looking up
you
in
always
the
want to be the
sky.
guy that discovers the illegal aliens. You are so
No,
into that.
okay. Illegal aliens. I'm not looking
Not
to
illegal
discover.
alien.
I am not looking to discover them.
Sorry, I apologize. Yes, no,
I
not
guess
illegal
technically
aliens.
they are illegal because they're not a
Right, they
resident
don't,
of
they don't
any
have,
country
They don't have citizenship of this country. We're gonna
of
not.
this world.
We're not letting them in if
But-
they get down there.
If I were to find aliens, that would be scary.
No, that would make your life.
I don't want Scraby to find aliens.
I don't
he'll
either.
he'll have all of us like terrified.
I would also think. I would think if they found him, they would take him back and go, "Look, this is an example.
creature.
This interesting creature we found."
I've been really into old aliens, like abduction stories lately, and there was an alien abduction at the Hotel del Coronado back in like the 90s. It's one of the most documented alien abduction stories in history.
All right. Sorry, I
Right
brought
down the
it
street.
up.
Chris fell asleep during my explanation right there. I just want everybody to know.
Sorry, I brought it up. Bryce Miller is one of our all-time favorites. He's a San Diego through and through now, one of the great columnists for the San Diego Union Tribune. Always happy to catch up with him. And it's been a while, Bryce. How you doing, my friend? Is he there yet? Or am I saying hello
You're saying hello to no
to an
one
empty
right now.
space?
I didn't. Yes, I got it.
He's not on the line yet. Ah, my goodness. Scraby, make it work. No, I'm making fun of you, not him.
We're ready to go, Chris. I don't know what's going on over there in that seat. We got an alien running the show.
Man, this show is smooth today. Hi, Bryce. Welcome to a smooth operating program. We are a veritable machine. How are you?
Yeah, it's impressive to hear when something is hitting on all cylinders in the way it sounds like you guys are right now.
We are
Facts.
not even close, Bryce. Not even close.
Impressive.
Yes. Also impressive is the consistency of our San Diego Padres, consistent in the fact that they can't get away from the 500 mark, sir. Yeah, I was
They
joking.
won 500.
Yes, they love it. I was joking with the guys. I counted this up this morning, so you're well than welcome to use this fun fact. But today now marks the 25th different time this season that they are at the 500 mark, from 1-1 to 2-2 to 7-7 to whatever, and to 41-41. Should we just make good with ourselves and feel like this is it, or do you think? We can find a way to break away from this at some point.
I still have not completely, trying to think of the right way to phrase this, but not given up on. I mean, you're not even to the All-Star break, but I guess history being lived best in a short time frame, just look back to last year. Almost all these metrics and measures you can look at, one-run games, close games, extra inning games. In so many ways, this team has proven it's better than that team, which might be kind of a backhanded compliment because there were some ways you could measure that last year's team in terms of at any metrics you would call clutch, they were almost historically bad, like mind-numbingly bad and confusingly bad in those kind of areas. But this team shows fight. They'll lose 5 games and they'll have a series like they did against the Brewers. They'll win 3 or 4. The Brewers lead a division in baseball. Now, granted, you can say the NL Central is not the toughest division in baseball, and you'd be right. But that's a team that leads the division. You won 3 or 4. You also got to think that they have gotten to the point they're at. Could they be games above 500? Yes. Should they? Maybe. But would you have said at the beginning of the year with Yu Darvish and Joe Musgrove down for as long as they've been down, Xander Bogaerts out indefinitely, the kind of injuries that, Tatis is, dealing with, I mean, on and on and on. Rise has been dinged up. Machado has missed games. Nobody's playing at 100%, but you could say that about a lot of teams. But, when you factor all that in, last season, everything they've dealt with to be right here, it's kind of cliche, but it's still all right in front of them. But if you'd have told me at the beginning of the year that, the person who leads the team in OPS is Jurickson Profar, and one of the arms you depend on most is Matt Waldron, I'd say, well, that's not a very good season. But somehow they just defy logic, and here they are at 500 again.
Such a good point made about this team not having really been completely healthy at very many points other than the very beginning of the season. When you look at some of the pieces that are not the core pieces, do you think that's a big reason why this team has been able to stay afloat, throughout the course of the season? Because, up until recently, Toddy hadn't really got going. Manny hadn't really got going. But yet the Padres still, despite those injuries and guys not playing well, have still been able to stay at 500.
Right. It's because of some things that have kind of happened quietly, I think. Maybe not as quietly recently, but I think one of the best stories on this team is Jake Cronenworth. I think there were a lot of people who said after last season, and the jury's still out. Again, not to the All-Star break. There's a lot of baseball left, and he needs to show that the start of this season can be the heart of this season and the end of this season. But he leads this team in RBIs right now on a team with Manny Machado, with Fernando Tatis Jr., with go down your list. It's maybe not as quiet since he went 5 for 5 the other night, but he has really kind of answered the bell on a lot of question marks after last season, and that's been big for them. The pickup of Luis Arraez, just his ability to consistently put the ball in play through stretches has been huge for them. Jackson Merrill, who again, that's another one. If you sit there at the beginning of the season and say that's going to be your everyday center fielder, and Jurickson Profar is going to be your everyday left fielder, I bet 90% of the people, if they were being honest, would say, well, this team's in trouble. But here they are at 500. So what Profar's done, what Merrill's done in moments, in important moments, the pickup of Arraez and really Jake Cronenworth, and go down that list, you do it with pitching too, for a lot of reasons, for all the underachieving pieces of this team that fans worry about, Manny Machado, and there's a list there too. They've had a lot of things that have gone right. And all they've done is they haven't guaranteed anything, but they also haven't lost anything. So this next month is big for them if they can, kind of steer this in a direction one way or the other.
Bryce Miller, always great catching up with him, columnist, San Diego Union Tribune. Bryce, kind of your own rating or opinion. I'm sure you spent, your share of time with Mike Schilt. Again, his ultimate report will be written at the end of this season. But what are your thoughts on Mike Schilt and some of the differences you see or similarities between he and Bob Melvin? Looking back, has this been the right move, et cetera? Give me a little thought or two on Mike Schilt and your dealings with him.
Yeah, he's almost the epitome of everything we've talked about, kind of the incomplete report card. You can't judge him too harshly one way, and you can't praise him too much the other direction. He's a bit like that 500 team right now. But, for Mike Schilt, it's all in front of him, too. The thing he's got in his favor, I think, is that he's always been a winner in St. Louis. They made the playoffs every year. Everything you've heard about him from former players. And I stopped myself in mid-thought there because everyone said that about Bob Melvin, too, when he arrived. But obviously that something in the front office didn't click, and maybe more than that, but at the very least, the front office didn't click. And Mike Schilt is more aligned with A.J. Preller in that front office. That's a starting, that's a building block for sure if you're comparing the last two managers. But as we've all learned over and over and over, he's going to be unfailingly positive and supportive of his guys. And that's okay, and it drives fans and probably the media a little bit crazy at times because, it's the rose-colored glasses kind of sense of things. But, deep down, what's he supposed to do? Is he supposed to contribute to the cracks publicly? I don't think that's probably the way to do it. He probably deserves a little bit of the ribbing, we get for, the use of the word alibi, if nothing else. but some of that's deserved. But he's not going to contribute to cracks. He's going to be the supportive guy.
Yeah.
And so far at 500, this team still can do what it wants to do. It's still in position to do that. So I think you said it perfectly at the beginning. The report card's still out.
Bryce Miller joins us here on Gwynn and Chris. And Bryce, what was my question going to be? I had a good one lined up for you there. I'm sorry, there's a bunch going on in here right now that just kind of threw me off there for a sec. Gosh, Chris, go ahead, man. I can't remember my question now.
Is Mike Schilt been too positive, Bryce? I didn't have one, so that's all I can come up with.
Only on this show that kind of stuff happens. Sorry.
That's right. Like we said when we brought you on, Bryce, it's a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, I think you guys are too positive right now, possibly. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I think that's all of it, whether we were talking about the players or Schilt and all of it. It's just, I think what's frustrating to fans, but there also needs to be some, take a step back, take a breath. They haven't lost anything, and with everything they've dealt with, it gets really interesting from here on out for sure. And, I've had people ask me, should this team be buyers? Should they be sellers? Which is another question.
That's what my question was going to
be.
See, I knew it. That's why I went there. Clairvoyant. It's a little early to know the answer to that, but I think it's a really interesting dynamic with Padres in particular, because if A.J. Preller is really feeling job pressure for the first time, we don't know that for sure, but with Contenda and kind of the tea leaves, probably a little more than he has before, at the very least, if not more. He doesn't want to be a seller. You've got the guy steering the ship who doesn't want to be a seller. But what if that front office decides with a little different direction? We need to be realistic about what the future looks like this season, especially after what happened last season. That makes that a really interesting question about what those conversations might look like behind closed doors. And again, the next month we'll decide what that looks like. But A.J. Preller at the end of the day does not want to be a seller with the position he's in right now.
By the way, that was Kevin Fransden yelling in my ear as I was trying to come up with my question, which totally threw me off. But I did remember it since you kind of sparked it. So let's assume the Padres are in position. I mean, given the kind of off season they had in which they didn't spend a lot of money, I mean, what kind of moves can actually be made if they are indeed in it? Do you see it being one of those type of deadlines that we've had in the past where, the Padres go for it, or will this be a little bit more measured, if you will?
Well, I think to some degree it has to be a little more measured just because they're up against it with the competitive balance tax. I mean, they worked so hard. As you said, they didn't make a bunch of big money moves in the offseason. The Arise deal is a masterpiece, I think.
Yeah, it is.
They somehow got a two-time batting champ. They didn't really spend any money on him. I mean, how do you even do that? So they got a bat like that that can hit as consistently as he does, and they figured out a way to do it that fit their plan, which is, for people who don't fully understand the competitive balance tax, there are penalties that kind of compound as you do this, in multiple years. You can reset the clock by going under that number, and they're in position to do that. So I don't see any scenario where they take all that work and undo it by going over the CBT. They want to reset that clock. There's no reason to be spending millions of dollars at this point unnecessarily. But they're very creative, and A.J. Preller might be the most creative GM in baseball. And, if there's a move to be made that's more prospect capital, a key guy here, something there, is it an arm? Really, it's hard to answer that question because what's it look like with Yu Darvish and Joe Musgrove, for example?
Yeah.
Are they in a position where they have to have a starting pitcher and they don't really have a choice? What's the market look like? What do those phone calls sound like? So it'll get really interesting. But, he's one of the most creative in baseball, if not the most creative, and he'll use that around the deadline, I'm sure.
Bryce, we have about a minute left. It's been a scintillating visit so far. You've actually been great. We've been completely off base. I'm going to finish with this.
I had to host a little bit.
Yeah, you should. As a matter of fact, if you want to do the last couple of hours, it'd be my pleasure.
Yeah, hop on.
Sure. Is A.J. Preller playing for his job the last 3.5 months? Do you get any feeling that's a possibility this time around, or is A.J. Preller given, regardless of what happens, the nod based on the fact that they had to reduce payroll?
Yeah, I don't know if definitively if anybody can say that. I mean, we don't really know Eric Katsenda. We don't know him in the way certainly that we seem to know or thought we knew Peter Seidler. And I will say personally, I knew Peter very well. I wasn't the only one. There are a lot of people who did. He was very supportive, but he was an unflagging supporter of A.J. Preller, and you never felt that pressure. Anytime that question should have been real and people asked it, he'd say 100% support, one of the smartest guys in baseball. We don't know what that looks like right now, and I think it's a fair question, and if this team misses the playoffs, still, even cut back with that payroll, I think it's fascinating what that might look like.
Last one for me, Bryce, and it's a completely change of subject, change of sports. I saw that Casey Stoney was let go from the Wave. What can you tell us about that?
Didn't see that coming. That's pretty incredible that she, in the very first season, took an expansion club to the playoffs.
Didn't she sign an extension in January?
I think she did. And she signed an extension for multiple years, I think. I think there were a club option. That might be 2 or 3 years out. But then they won the Shield, which is the equivalent of winning the league in the NWSL. That's what her resume was there. And it has a feel of the first sign of trouble. Somebody got an itchy trigger finger. It seems like a quick hook to me. But what nobody's talking about, what I'm curious about, is behind the scenes with players talking to Jill Ellis or anybody else. I almost don't want to plant that seed because I know nothing about it. I don't know that that's true. But I wonder if there's more to it because the resume certainly doesn't say fire Casey Stoney.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting. The Wave are 3, 5, and 6 this year, but are still very much in the playoff hunt. But they changed their head coach. All right, Bryce, thank you so much for surviving that visit with us today. It was not easy. Only somebody
I feel like they earned a merit badge for coming on today.
we owe you big time for this one. We'll try to do better next time, and we'll look for if you'll allow there to be a next time. But we'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Thanks, Bryce.
Yeah, always. Thanks.
You got it. Bryce Miller right there from the San Diego Union-Tribune. Yeah, that's a little surprising story, Tony, this Casey Stoney thing. They've only given up 13 goals all year, but they've only scored 12. And maybe that's, offensively they've struggled, but I don't really know. They're kind of in the middle of the standings. It's a weird
They
weird
did
move.
sign her to an extension on January 24th of this
That's what
year.
I thought.
Contract went through 2027 and then a mutual option for 2028. So at the very least, she's getting paid for 3 seasons.
Well, that part's good for Casey Stoney, but the Wave will have to look elsewhere for a coach. Gwynn and Chris will have to look elsewhere to get some rhythm going here with hour number 2. We'll see what we can come up with next. Here we go into hour number 2 of Gwynn and Chris. Happy Monday to you out there. Crisello, Tony Gwynn Jr. down at Petco Park. Matt Scraby alongside here in the Odyssey Palace studios. Coming up, we have a new segment on the program. It's called Fair or Foul. And judging by the way the show has gone today, that segment will probably be a little crazy.
I'm always nervous about new segments because
I'm a little nervous about the rest of the show, the way the first hour went.
we're just going to keep cruising straight, Chris.
We have no choice but to keep going along here, but it has been one of stops and starts.
It's a case of the Mondays for all of us for some reason.
Maybe so. Bryce Miller, we appreciate him for putting up with us.
Yes.
And talking a little Padre baseball from the San Diego Union Tribune. Tony will rejoin us for that fair or foul segment. We'll explain at the time of the segment.
Yeah.
Chris versus the fans coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, the big 5 after that. Going to be doing a daily gambit here shortly. You know, it's a big day around the sports world, if you ask me. I love days like this. You've got a Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Finals.
You do?
And, you know, what a break to have that after the Panthers stormed to win the first 3 games. It looked like that series is just going to peter out.
Yeah.
Instead, you now have a chance for history to be made tonight if the Oilers can pull it off and win Game 7, complete the comeback from 3-0 down. Last team to do it was the LA Kings 10 years ago. They did that in the first round, though. I mean, this would be only the second time in NHL history that a team comes from 3-0 in the finals to win the Stanley Cup. And you got to go back to, you know, my day, 1942.
If I could turn back time.
Last time it actually happened. So that's exciting.
I do like that.
Yeah, the College Baseball World Series goes down to a final game. I mean, you talk about the pressure on these kids in Nebraska.
They're putting their lives on the line, Chris.
I understand there's a weather warning
for
this game between Texas A&M and Tennessee.
Yes, there's an excessive heat warning, and it's supposed to be 98 degrees at first pitch.
Should they maybe just put the game off till tomorrow? I mean, do we have to play it today?
Yes, because the TV's waiting for them.
The TV will be there tomorrow. It's not like an NFL playoff game.
It will cool down.
It's the last game of the season.
It will cool down.
Why don't they start it a little later in the evening?
They can do that for sure. I mean,
they're starting at 6 o'clock Central Time.
Yeah.
So that's already later in the evening.
I have already had my cousin in Cincinnati tell me that I am a wimp for the weather because I said it was super hot out here this weekend.
Yeah,
he was like, dude, it hasn't been below 95 in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, this is nothing compared to the rest of the country.
It is.
Yeah, Tennessee and Texas A&M will have a Game 3 tonight to decide the College World Series. So you got both of those things going on. Of course, the Padres taking on the Nationals. And, you know, to me, the storyline is very simple. Can the Padres get some runs off a left-handed starting pitcher? It's been 2 months since they've had a good offensive showing against a left-handed starter. 2 full months. 22 starters in a row have held them to 3 runs or less. And 17 of those have held them to 1 or 0. So they usually, you know, don't score anything.
These are the games that really make me nervous because Patrick Corbin has not been good.
No.
The Padres somehow seem to make these not good pitchers look great.
Right. The only pitcher that he's, you know, better than in whip is Sandoval of the Angels, and we saw what he did to the Padres a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, no.
So
I feel like maybe this was I say this all the time, and keep in mind I am not looking at the record until August 1st.
Right.
But I feel like maybe this was a turning point this weekend.
What is the record right now?
I couldn't even tell you.
That's right, because you won't look at it
until
August 1st.
I think they're exactly 500.
They are.
Okay.
For the 25th time this season.
Yeah, that's another Crisello stat. You need to start doing like a Crisello stat segment. Just read all your tweets.
I've got nothing else to do, so I can come up with this kind of stuff. All right, Padres and Nationals tonight. By the way, the Padres are a half game ahead of the Nationals for the final playoff spot currently in the National League. So
this is a big series.
These games are important,
They are
right?
very
I know
important.
it's only June, but there is a bit of importance to these games as well. All right, let's get to some daily gambit action.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo!
If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in The Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit is our daily sports betting segment here on Gwynn and Chris. Please, everybody, gamble responsibly. We will get into some of the bets we made last week. And it starts with, I'm trying to find my sheet. Man, this show has been tip-top, Chris. Rockies and Nationals over under 11 for Friday night's game. We both went over this one. It was Nationals 11, Rockies 5, so 16 runs. So
Comfortable.
Good on that.
Victory
Very
for us
comfortable.
there.
Padres minus 1.5 over the Brewers on Friday night. Chris chose the Padres. I couldn't choose the Padres, so I went Brewers. And Padres won 9-5, comfortably beating their spread on that one. Now, the next bet was who was going to pitch more innings on Friday night? Chris Paddock at the A's or Colin Ray pitching against the Padres? Both of us said Paddock. Colin Ray had 5 1/3. Paddock had 4 2/3. So pretty close. Pretty
The
close
sheriff
there.
burned out on me.
Sheriff. Oh, man. I got a lot of people suggesting nicknames because I just want to let everybody know Chris and I were under the impression it was baseball only. So that's why I didn't name guys like the Fridge and things like that.
When we did the nickname thing Friday?
For the countdown, yes. So the Fridge would have definitely been on my list if we were
we were
thinking,
only doing baseball
yes.
nicknames. I will tell you that somebody sent in my favorite team nickname on Friday, and I forgot to mention it because we talked about the Gas House Gang and the Big Red Machine and the Whiz Kids and Murderers Row, the Lumber Company. But somebody just sent in the reminder of the Milwaukee Brewer teams of the early 80s who were managed by a guy named Harvey Keene. And they hit a lot of home runs, and they were called Harvey's Wallbangers. That was a really good team nickname back in the day.
That
So
is a
whoever
good
sent
one.
that in, thank you.
They
Good
just
job.
don't do it like they used to.
They don't. They don't have team. I mean, what's this year's Padres called? The Padres.
Yeah.
Nickname.
The Fightin'. No, that's
No,
the Fightin'
there's
Phils.
no name.
You can't do it.
No nicknames anymore. Come on, people. Get with it.
All right, last one's Florida at Edmonton. Edmonton minus 1.5 on the puck line. Both of us chose Florida. Both of us were wrong. Edmonton won 5-1. Now the next one was who was going to save more, the Edmonton goalie or Florida goalie. Who was going to have more saves, I should say.
Right.
I said Edmonton. You said Florida. The Edmonton goalie had 20 saves. The Florida goalie had 16 saves.
You got that one.
I've been picking Edmonton all year, and I have not been able to pick it correctly. Tennessee and Texas A&M, I believe, on Saturday. I don't remember the spread, but we both chose Texas A&M, and they did win 9-5.
Yes, and then Tennessee won Game 2 yesterday, 4-1, to force the third game tonight. And, of course, that is on the board for our Daily Gambit. Here we go. Who do you like? Game 3 of the College World Series for all the marbles. Tennessee minus 1.5 over Texas A&M. Scraby, how do you start the week off? With a win or with a loss?
I know nothing about these teams. I just looked and saw, unless they're going to change it, Tennessee's wearing black jerseys.
That seems to be kind of silly in that heat.
But the sun might be going down. I don't know. I'm going to go Texas A&M. I don't know why.
I'm going Texas A&M as well.
I know why you're going Texas A&M.
I know. Because I don't want to hear about it from my friend, the Tennessee fan.
the volunteer?
Yeah. 10.5 runs over under for tonight's game in the College World Series finale. Over under 10.5 total runs. I'm going to go under. I think the thinking is that it's the third game, so they won't have the best pitchers. But in my thinking is the pressure on these kids. These are college kids playing for everything. I think it's going to be real difficult to hit tonight. Like, Just going to be nervous trying to bat. So I'm going to say the 10.5 goes under. What about you?
I've been seeing a lot of high-scoring college baseball games.
Some of them?
I'm going to go over.
You're going to go over.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get to the Stanley Cup final. Game 7, Florida's a 1.5 favorite over Edmonton.
Florida 1.5 favorite over Edmonton.
And Florida's was ahead 3-0. Now it's 3-3. Do you ride the wave of Edmonton, Scraby?
I do.
You do?
I do. I think this is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
I don't see how you can get this far and then be like, okay,
let's not do it.
Yeah,
let's not finish
play
it off.
well. Yeah.
You know, Edmonton has outscored them 20-5 over the last 11 periods of play. It hasn't even been close.
Not even. Yeah, that's not even
so,
close.
I don't know that Florida, I don't know how they get their mojo back. I will take Edmonton as well. Over under 5.5 goals for Game 7. Game 7s are notoriously low scoring. Edmonton may win 2-1. I'll say under. Scraby?
I will say over.
Over for Game 7.
Maybe like a 4-2. Yeah.
No? Okay, that would be over. All right, one more. More saves. Which goalie has more saves? The Edmonton goaltender, Stuart Skinner. The Florida netminder, Sergei Bobrovsky. Scraby, you went with Skinner the other night. It worked out for you.
I'm taking the Florida net finder.
You're going with Bobrovsky.
No, if
this
I
time.
think Edmonton wins, I guess isn't that how it works, Chris?
Well, I
have
think
more
Edmonton
shots?
should have more shots, meaning Bobrovsky should have more saves. So I will go with Bobrovsky as well.
All right.
Just because I kind of like saying
Bobrovsky. That is a good one.
Padres are 1.5 runs over the Washington Nationals. I mean, I have to take the odds here, which is that the Padres don't beat lefties. So I'm going to take Washington tonight. I mean, I think I'm using my knowledge. I'm hoping the Padres can find a way to finally break through, but until they do, I got to take Washington plus the runs tonight. Scraby?
I'm going to go with the Padres.
You're saying they are going to break through.
Yep.
And Patrick Corbin is pitching, the lefty for the Nats, over under 5 1/3 innings. So will he get a second out in the 6th inning?
5 1/3 innings.
Corbin.
No. Under.
Will he get it? No.
Under. No. You've told me too much.
No, he's really, I mean, numerically, really, really not good. But every lefty starter against the Padres goes at least 6 innings and gives up 1 run.
It's true, but I'm going to say under.
All right, I'll say over until further notice for Corbin. That's our daily gambit tonight. We'll see how it turns out on the program tomorrow. Should have a Padre lineup coming in shortly. Haven't heard one way or the other about Fernando Tatis Jr.
That's what we're looking out for.
And his potential availability. We'll find out about that, the rest of that, and get you ready for more Padre baseball after a check of traffic on Gwynn and Chris.
From
All right, Gwynn and Chris returns here. 3:22 is the time. Those of you who've been with us since 2 o'clock today, thanks for hanging with us as we try to work our way through this program. It's just been one of those days where we've just been, off of our rhythm.
Did it just start while I was at
The
a
show
studio?
just started without you.
I think that might have been the first ever time I've done this, Chris.
Well, I was ready to jump in. Fortunately,
I just dropped all your papers on the
and
ground.
keeping us from having yet another disaster, which has been the story of the show today. But I do have some good news, believe it or not. Coming up, you're going to have a chance to win a pair of tickets to tomorrow's Padres Nationals game. So there's that.
There is that.
We are going to give away a pair of tickets to the game tomorrow night. The first 40,000 fans will receive a Ha-Seong Kim bobblehead. You can grab tickets at Padres.com/tickets or stay tuned to this fine program, and you'll have a chance to win some Padre National tickets coming up. So stay right there. This hour, 97.3 The Fan, is brought to you by the Farmer's Dog. Fresh, human-grade dog food. From a healthier weight to more energy, when you switch your dog's food to the Farmer's Dog, the effects can feel ... magical. What sorcery is this?
I was waiting for it.
None at all. It's just the real food made for the health of your dogs. Get 50% off your first box. 50%.
Yeah.
Not bad.
That is not bad.
Go to farmersdog.com/radio to find out all about it. Jake Cronenworth had the good weekend series, did he not, Scrabe?
He had a really good weekend.
9 for 18, 2 homers, 1 a walk-off. Had a double. He had 6 consecutive hits at one point. Went 5 for 5, first time in his career.
Yep.
On, what was that, Saturday night?
Yes.
Or no, Friday. Because Thursday he had the walk-off.
I didn't get to watch much of the game on Saturday.
Thursday he had the walk-off, and then Friday he had the 5 for 5.
There we go.
So Jake had a big weekend. Jackson Merrill continuing. 12 extra base hits in his last 17 games. 7 homers, 5 doubles. I mean, this guy, there is nobody out there who could have predicted that he'd be this effective.
No.
This soon.
No.
So Jackson Merrill, just really fantastic. And don't forget, he opened the season batting a comfortable 9th in the batting order, and everybody thought, yeah, that's good. Let's just keep him there. Let him hit his 250. Try to learn how to play center field. He's a rookie. We won't expect much of him. Guess what? We're expecting stuff from him now.
Yep.
And he's batting 6th a lot of times, 5th even. And he really, is being relied upon for production right now. Especially with, I know Manny keeps showing signs of it, but really haven't had a breakout yet from Manny, not the likes of which Manny's used to.
But his stats are way up in the last 30 games.
Yes, I know they are. And Fernando's stats are good too, but you know that Fernando still has not hit a home run with a runner on base since May 3rd? I mean, that's a long time for a guy of Fernando's ability to, put a crooked number on the board with one swing. Hasn't happened. Fernando's hurt right now. Will he be in the lineup tonight? We don't know yet.
We have some interesting news from Jeff Sanders down at the ballpark. Jeff Sanders saying that minor leaguer Bryce Johnson is here again. For now, only changes Jose Azocar has packed and left the Padres clubhouse. Then he tweeted out maybe a little bit later, Johnny Brito is also packing, but they haven't sent out any of the actual announcements or roster changes. So As soon as we get that, we'll let you know.
Because at first, now Bryce Johnson, I think he was spotted yesterday.
Yes.
And I think some people thought he might be there to take Fernando's spot.
Yes.
Fernando goes on the injured list.
But
Now
Sugar's leaving.
Now, according to Jeff Sanders, excellent reporter for the San Diego Union Tribune, maybe it's Sugar Azocar who is going to be let go. They wouldn't be putting him on the injured list if he's packing his bags. He's going.
Yeah, he's going to AAA.
Yeah.
Or someone on the chat, not Podzilla. Podzilla's a great chatter, but Prolific said a trade is coming.
Well, we'll all kind of stand by and wait to see what happens. We can tell you this, as far as Fernando's concerned, you Padre fans have got to get with it.
Why?
Because Fernando has fallen out of the top 3 in the balloting for National League starting outfielder. The 3 now are Jurickson Profar, Christian Yelich, and Teoscar Hernandez.
Yeah.
So Fernando's fallen to 4th place as far as starting outfielder is concerned. Luis Arraez, who was the early ballot leader at second base, has also fallen out of the lead. He's behind Ketel Marte.
You know, I've been thinking a lot about that.
Okay.
And obviously Luis Arraez is a very valuable player to us here in San Diego, but I don't think he has the appeal nationwide.
Well, people are stupid. I mean, that's all I can say. I mean, the guy's a back-to-back batting champ.
I totally get it.
He handles
totally
the bat like nobody else in baseball. You know, I don't know how people can't appreciate Luis Arraez, but here's my thinking on the All-Star voting. I don't like the way they do it now, where you, the fan, can go online and vote up to 5 times a day.
Does seem like a lot.
And you are basically begged by the Padres, and they're not the only ones doing it, right? The Royals are doing it in Kansas City. The Reds do it in... Anyway, each team is begging their fan base, go online, vote for your guy,
5
vote
times.
for your guy, vote for our guy, vote 5 times. Why should I have to vote for our guy if I think somebody else is more deserving? It's the All-Star game. It's not necessarily which fan base can vote the most. That, to me, shouldn't decide it.
No.
But a lot of times that's what does decide it. And in that realm, where are there more fans? Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, Philadelphia. Certainly not San Diego. So if it's just a popularity contest, then tell us it's a popularity contest. But if it's an all-star ballot, at least me, I'm going to try to fill it out based on who I think should be on the all-star team.
I think...
even though I'm not told to do that. I'm told by, and I'm using the Padres as an example because we're here, but the Padres basically blare it out over the speaker and on the scoreboard 10 times a night.
Yeah.
Vote for our guys, and you can vote as many as 5 times, so get with it.
Yeah. No, I get it. I see it every game, too.
Right.
I see it on the TV, too. But
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing.
I don't like that.
If Luis Arraez can't get if he can't get the recognition, how is Jurickson Profar? Because I feel like I haven't seen that much Jurickson Profar coverage either. It just...
Well, Profar almost has, barged his way onto the team by just having such outstanding numbers all season. But you bring up a point.
Hold on.
Will he hold on?
Hold
Are you
your
getting
horses.
some news?
Yes, I got to confirm it. Someone's saying, tell me where you chatters are getting this from, because I don't see it.
Why don't we take a break?
Good
and
call.
if we
Good call.
have the news
Good
of
call.
what you think you have,
Good call.
we will pass it along to everybody else when we come back. But there is something afoot. If Jose Azocar is packing his bags, we'll try to figure out what it all means when Gwynn and Chris continues.
Annie and
All right, we got a bunch of stuff. Tony filling us in from down at Petco Park. A couple of things. This isn't exactly great news for you. Gwynn and Chris, 97.3 The Fan. That's the name of the program. That's not the bad news. This is the bad news.
Yeah.
Fernando Tatis Jr. is indeed heading to the disabled or the injured list. He is probably not even going to be back in 10 days. I said probably. I don't know for sure. It's possible he may be on the injured list through the All-Star break. That's what several reports are saying.
The All-Star break is 3 weeks away, Chris.
That's what I'm saying.
I did read it's his quad. It's not the elbow that got hit.
It's not the elbow that got hit. It's a quad.
Yeah.
It's bothering him. Kevin Acee, our own Annie Heilbrunn, saying that it could extend through the All-Star break. I didn't say it will. I said it could. But the likelihood of him just taking 10 days and being right back doesn't sound great.
He's been trying to play through this quad for a couple weeks now.
That's not good news. Here's the other not good news. Yu Darvish will not make his start tomorrow night for the Padres. They were hoping he'd be back in the rotation tomorrow to start against the Nationals. Still has some inflammation in his elbow. So, with those two things in mind, Padres have made a couple of moves. They have sent down Johnny Brito. They have sent down Sugar, Jose Azocar. And coming up to take everybody's place, my guy, Eggy, my guy, E-Guy.
Yes, E-Guy.
E-Guy, Eggy Rosario's coming back up. Bryce Johnson, right-handed hitting center fielder, is coming up to the Padres for the first time.
What?
And Adam Mazur's returning because he will make the start tomorrow night, as Darvish will not.
What is the thought behind Azocar being...
Other than the fact that he has done nothing?
Well, has he
offensively?
Has he had opportunities to?
To me, when he's had any opportunity, he has not done much with it.
Let me see.
I know he's been a defensive fill-in for...
I mean, if you're going to carry Trent Grisham on a team all year, you might as well carry Jose Azocar.
Well, I can tell you, Bryce Johnson's a very swift of foot outfielder.
Yeah, he's saying Jose Azocar's only hitting 219 right now.
Right.
So
he has done nothing. And I'm sorry
you don't need to put
that.
it like that.
Well, you asked me, so I'm telling you. Bryce Johnson's a very swift of foot center fielder. He might be able to be a, late inning defensive replacement, make some starts, etc. I think Eggy is a much better bat off the bench than Azocar.
I don't disagree.
Not even a contest.
He's got the power.
There. Not even a contest there. So anyway, but that's bad news. That's bad news. I mean, Fernando's not only on the IL, but maybe through the All-Star break. And Darvish is not well enough to make his start tomorrow. So
that does worry me. Those
are two bits of bad news. I don't know any other way to couch that.
The last time we talked about Yu Darvish, it was he's on schedule, everything's okay. We're going to be looking for him to come back here very soon.
Inflammation in the elbow.
I got inflammation in my shoulder right now, and let me tell you, I couldn't pitch.
You're not pitching either.
It really does. It really hurts.
Right. All right.
Some people are saying they're really bummed because they had tickets to see you pitch tomorrow night, and now it's Mazur time.
Get Mazur. It's all right. You can see Mackenzie Gore tomorrow night. Look at it that way.
Oh, it's a Mackenzie Gore Adam Mazur matchup.
Showdown tomorrow night.
Not to say anything about Adam Mazur, but he's struggled so far.
Pitched a little bit better last time out.
Okay, that's true.
Threw some more strikes in that matchup against the Brewers. All right, we're going to do a little fair or foul. It's a brand new segment. The way this show has gone today, I have a feeling this may land foul.
I do too.
But after traffic, we're going to try it.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by SDG&E. Seeing a lot of the usual slowing in the usual spots and then some. Yeah, you got lots of company heading off Coronado on the bridge at this time in the 5 southbound. Very tough from the bridge off and on all the way down toward H Street before it lets up. But fortunately, no incidents or accidents make things any tougher for you out there. In peak wildfire season, as a last resort, SDG&E may need to shut off power in specific areas for public safety. Learn more about public safety power shutoffs at sdge.com/PSPS. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, usually on Mondays, guys, we do Padres Pen Pals, but today we're going to try something new. We're going to try a segment called, because Adam gave me such a hard time about my fair or foul a couple weeks ago, I want to do a segment on fair or foul tweets that I saw over the weekend from people that are Padres fans. I'm not going to identify anyone, and I did help clean up some of these tweets because I think these people were drinking a little bit when they were tweeting this. There's a lot of misspellings, a lot of random, non-incoherent sentences being left on Twitter.
Seems like I think this is a good idea. I mean, because going through my Padre Twitter feed, I feel like I kind of nod my head at some and say, okay, that makes sense. But many of them, I'm like, what in the world?
I will never forget the time that everybody told, or not everybody, but a few people told Tony he was wrong. He didn't know what he was talking about when it came to playing baseball. So yeah, that's how far these people go.
What happened?
Do you remember when you were defending Eric Hosmer and the way he was like scooping a ball and then people were telling you were wrong about it?
Oh, because he stepped back to make a catch from first base, which is something that you need to do sometimes.
One of the step back ones,
right? But
honestly.
Yeah.
It was. It might have just been a regular.
Yeah, you didn't know what you were. You didn't know anything about baseball on that one.
No.
According to the
my man was arguing me down too.
He was.
But I will say this: Tony got his best shot back at Twitter the other day on television. Did you guys hear that?
Oh no! What did he say?
Oh yeah, he had a great line. Great line.
What did he say?
I think Don Orsillo was referring to the umpires, balls and strikes, and how there's a checks and balance system now because they put their rating score up on the, up on Twitter or wherever they put it after games. And Don Orsillo said, God, I wonder if there's if there was a checks and balance system for announcers. And Tony said, there is. It's called Twitter.
Yes. That was a good one, Tony.
Tony was on top of that one.
Did Don get a good little chuckle out of that one?
He did.
That was a good one by my man.
Let's just say he agreed.
That's right. There you go.
I don't ever see bad Don tweets, though.
Well, he doesn't deserve any.
Maybe I'm in that
He's the
sort
master.
of algorithm. Anyway, let's get started, and I'm going to go ahead and say the tweet, and then you guys are going to say if it's fair or foul. So the first one is going to be this one about Toddy. I'm happy that Toddy seems to be okay after being hit by a pitch, but now you need to wear an elbow guard. Your career depends on your elbow to be healthy. So, Chris, fair or foul? Does his career, or does he need to wear an elbow guard?
Foul. I think he needs to be comfortable up at the plate, and if he feels that includes an elbow guard, then he'll put one on. It's as simple as that. I think you have to be as comfortable as possible up there. It'd probably be the smarter thing to do, but didn't that pitch hit his back elbow, right? I don't think it hit his forearm elbow. I think it hit the underneath his other elbow.
I can't remember now.
I can't remember either.
Yeah, you can't walk up there like you're a knight in shining armor. I mean, you've got to be able to swing
Give you
freely.
Barry Bonds with that bionic arm that he put on.
Well, he started it all.
He did.
So I'm going to say foul. I'm going to say his comfort is most important.
All right, Tony, fair or foul on this? Does Toddy need to wear an elbow guard?
Man, I feel like I'd be a hypocrite if I said yes. I didn't wear one. It is a comfort thing, man. And if you're okay wearing it in the elbow, then you should be allowed to approach it how you want. Some guys wear guards, some guys don't. I always felt like it was restrictive, and I'm based on how Toddy moves, I'm sure that's exactly how he feels.
Yeah, I mean he's a human
He's a
contortionist.
pretty I don't know, was a Gumby-ish character, I guess.
He is.
I'm here to tell you guys and make the admission now on national radio that in all of the time that I pitched, from Little League to Pony League to high school to college to San Diego State, I never wore a cup.
Oh, I don't think that's a big deal, is it, Tony?
No, I never wore a cup.
Yeah.
on the mound ever. I just there's no way
I don't think
could
Luis
be comfortable.
Campusano's wearing one.
Well, I don't know. He
No,
should
I think
be,
he's
but
definitely
he
wearing
should
one.
be.
Or
but
else
it's
he would be dead still.
Or he would be out of baseball
Isn't that
right
an
now.
admission of just being stupid? I mean, to be out on the mound and not have a cup in case.
Kind of.
I always looked at it as a skillful thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my hands is that good. I don't need a cup.
And then when you get hit there, it's like, damn, my
You know, the funny thing
skillfulness.
is the times I got hit or like on, you know, a base hit up the middle and like it could just kind of go down and get in. It might like pop up and like catch you.
Yeah. That
That's
didn't
really the
hurt.
only time I ever got
You
hit.
were in center field. You're a little further away than I was.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I can't remember too many pictures taken
Yeah, I've
one off.
never
Okay.
seen
All right.
you know?
So I was in the majority, maybe.
That's really funny, though. All right, next one, Tony, you're first. And some of these are kind of negative, just preparing you guys.
Bring it.
This Tom Cosgrove Today's a tough day. This Tom Cosgrove experiment is not working. Please give up on it. We got lucky last season. Fair or foul, Tony?
I mean, I don't recall him getting in any trouble since he's been back. So, I'd say that is not fair.
That's foul, yes.
Foul.
Yes.
Not fair. Foul.
Yes.
Yeah, I think right now they need the arm. Bullpen's pretty taxed. And after starting the year at the club and being sent down, you're bringing him back up. See if he's been able to correct some of the issues he had. I don't see a problem with this.
Fair or foul,
Foul.
Chris?
It's way
Thank you,
foul.
Tony.
It's way foul. The only pitcher you can be critical of, in my mind, that it would be fair, would be if you said we spent too much money on Yuki Matsui. That I would consider to be a fair tweet based on his performance so far.
Well, we should wait till the next one.
Oh,
You're
is
up
that
first.
coming up? I didn't look ahead.
Don Orsillo. This one starts with Don Orsillo, quote, Yuki Matsui coming into the game for the Padres, and, quote, me, game's over.
Oh, okay.
Chris, fair or
I was
foul?
looking ahead. All right, well, that's actually foul. I mean, that's absurd. I don't know what his record is in terms of when he's in games or not games, but, you know, I think I gave you my feeling on Yuki.
He needs to pitch better.
In the last comment. I expected more from this guy, and I think most of it has been his reluctance or inability to throw strikes. I don't know how many times he's walked the first hitter he comes in to face, but it sure seems like it happens way too much. So to me, he's got pretty good stuff, Tony. So my message to him, and I'm sure their message to him, has been trust your stuff. Get it in the strike zone. He's making a lot of money. What was the contract for him, Scrape?
I'll look it up.
You know these things.
I'll look it up.
It was a big off-season signing, and
I don't know that it was that much though.
It really wasn't. Okay.
I
for
think
what the
for the
Padres are
Padres were
spending.
going, I think it was their big offseason, but I don't recall them spending a ton
Let's
of money.
see. He's getting paid this year. He signed a 5-year, $28 million deal, which isn't quite a bit of money, but he's only being paid $3.25 this year.
Yeah, he's pitching like $3.25
Oh, wow.
in my mind.
That's foul, Chris.
That might be foul, but yeah, I need him to pitch better. Come on, Yuki, have a good second
Next year
half.
he does make $8 million.
He's gonna have
Third
to have
year
a
he
better
makes
second
$14
half.
million. Tony, did you already give your response to this? No, you haven't.
I have not.
But I'm thinking you think it's foul, right?
What was it? Oh, game's over.
Yeah, game's over.
Yeah, that's probably foul, but Chris is right. He has, for lack of a better term, he has been reluctant to be in the zone, it seems like at times. And, the leadoff walk, it does happen quite a bit. And so I think Yuki's going to have to pitch better as we get going. Because where the Padres, especially where the Padres are at now, with the bullpen being taxed, they kind of need to lean on him a little bit, but they haven't been able to because of the command issues. And so, yeah, I think the initial question is foul, but I think Chris is right.
Okay. Let's go to a positive one, guys. Jackson Merrill has been incredible. But this person was starting a debate. Jackson Merrill is going to be the best rookie to ever play in a Padres uniform. Tony.
No.
Foul. Okay.
Foul.
I should have said fair or foul. Who is it? Your dad, right?
Off the top of my head, I know. Well, obviously Tony's dad was fantastic in his first season, but Benito was a rookie of the year and had a 37-game hit streak, or 34 game hit streak his rookie season. But Jackson Merrill's, finally getting some attention. I don't know if you saw.
He should be the leader now.
He's not. According to ESPN.com's midseason awards, he now ranks 4th in the National League rookie race.
Is Andy Pages still above him?
No, the 3 that were ahead of him in this particular rating were Yamamoto of the Dodgers was 3rd.
His tricep.
Joey Ortiz of the Brewers, who just left town, was 2nd.
That boy good.
Yeah, he is pretty good.
And Bryce Wilson of the Brewers was 1st on the rookie of the year.
That's going to change.
I think Jackson can end up ahead of all 3 of those guys. Certainly, if he keeps up doing what he's doing.
The other Jackson just fell off. Jackson Churio.
He's having better year than all those dudes, in my opinion.
I agree. Jackson Merrill's and another great defensive play yesterday.
Oh yeah,
goes unnoticed because they lost, but. You try to take second base on him on a fly ball, and he nabs the guy easily. I love this kid.
And you win stupid prizes. Congratulations, Mr. Black.
Yes.
Yeah, you played yourself.
I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know what he was thinking.
But don't you think Tony Jackson Merrill's baseball IQ is way high for a 21-year-old rookie? His IQ of the game is he just seems to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he understands the game for sure. He's not your typical 21-year-old.
He's not. All right. Let's see. How much time? Okay, we got a couple minutes left. Let me go to this one, and the rest of them are actually about Jackson Merrill, which doesn't surprise me, but it says, I would give everything I had to be Jackson Merrill for a day. Fair or foul, Chris?
Everything I had to be Jackson Merrill for a day.
Now, not really everything you have, but...
Yeah. No, 21 sounds pretty good when you're at my age.
Playing baseball?
Starting center field for the Padres. I think I'd give that a shot.
Okay, so it's a fair
and having the kind of success he's having. So, yeah, I might say fair.
See, Tony's a little bit different.
Depends how old you are, but I think at my age, you're going to take this one any day.
Tony's going to be a little bit different because he actually did get to play. I would give everything I had to be Jackson Merrill for a day.
Yeah, see, Tony got to do this. Yeah. Not many of us did, so...
To be Jackson Merrill for a day.
Only one day?
Yeah, that's a little too...
Yeah, that's not long enough. I need at least for the rest of the season.
Yeah, no, Jackson is, he's getting to do, what I love to do. He gets to be on a big league field. He gets to run out to center field every day. And, he's playing with a more talented team up and down than I played with.
Oh, but, I didn't know that. Sorry. I'm just commenting for no reason at all, Tony.
She's throwing shade on Jerry Hairston Jr., not you, Tony.
No. Sorry.
I think Jerry would agree with me. I mean,
that this team's more talented than that one.
Yeah, it's big. They cost a lot more money than any of us did.
True.
So, nonetheless, I wouldn't. I don't know. I think I like mine. Like my life.
Yeah, you got a pretty sweet life.
Yeah, Tony's life is good. My life, leads a lot to be desired.
Chris, we had a nice birthday for you on
it was a
Saturday
nice weekend.
Night,
I appreciate
so you
that.
have plenty of friends. Chris is a guy who may not seem like he likes people, but Chris has lots of friends, like an incredible amount of friends.
I'm a good guy away from the mic.
Foul. I call foul on that.
Calling foul.
All right, maybe we'll build on this fair or foul.
Yeah, it was a pretty good idea. I think you just need more hardcore tweets.
I need.
Yeah, this kind of made for the negative hard tweets.
Yeah,
that whole concept is.
All right, well then.
But you're gonna have to find some fair though too, even if they come off as negative.
No, that's true. I'm gonna look for harder in the paint tweets for everybody. All right, when we get back, Chris versus the fans, 833-288-0973. Get qualified for a chance to win a trip to Las Vegas if you beat Chris. Next.
Padres Nationals.
we kick off hour number 3 of Gwynn and Chris with that sounder indicating that the Padres have a lineup out today. If you haven't been listening to the show till now, you're going to be a little surprised at the Padre lineup today.
Yeah.
Because there's some names in there that you probably didn't know were even on the Padres. Why don't you go ahead and give the lineup, and then we'll give the newsworthy items that make this lineup what it is.
All right. We got Luis Arraez leading off. No surprise there. Playing first base. Jurickson Profar is in the lineup playing left field. Manny Machado is playing third base, batting third. Jake Cronenworth cleaning up today, playing second base. This goes along with the theme of the show. Donovan Solano.
He's batting cleanup and hitting fourth?
Yes, he's batting cleanup, hitting fourth, and he's hitting second base, Chris.
Okay.
Donovan Solano is DH, Jackson Merrill center field, Hassan Kim shortstop, Higashioka catcher, and then Bryce Johnson in right field. He's a switch hitter.
Who's that?
Bryce Johnson.
Bryce Johnson.
Yeah.
A lot of people might say, who is that? Well, he just got called up to the big leagues by the Padres, and he's playing right field because Fernando Tatis Jr. has been placed on the injured list and may be there for a while. Yeah, crying notwithstanding. Fernando, Kevin Acee, nobody's reporting that he's going to be out till after the All-Star break, but people are reporting that it could very well be until after the All-Star break.
I guess it kind of sort of makes sense because
you're
letting him. Yeah, he's been trying to play through his quad injury for a couple weeks now, but it kind of sort of makes sense just to let him heal up all the way.
Well,
hopefully they can hang in there,
The other thing, the other guy that is concerning to me is Profar right now. Tony and I talked about this. I don't know how healthy he is right now. I mean, he just looks like that knee could go on him at any moment.
I agree.
Maybe I'm overly concerned, but, he's playing through some pain. There's no question. You watch him run, and everything he does is, he's doing it gingerly. And so he's not anywhere near 100% right now. And I don't know, how he's going to get that knee better if he doesn't take some time off. But there's no way Jurickson Profar wants to take time off now. He's making a push to get on his first All-Star team.
Yeah, I was at the game yesterday watching Jurickson very closely, and there were a couple balls to left field that I thought maybe if he was healthy, he would be able to sprint and possibly dive and get there. But he wasn't even sprinting in. I'm not saying he's not trying. I'm just saying it looks like it hurts.
I don't think he can sprint right now.
Yeah, and that's what Tony said. When he gets into sprint mode is when it pains him the most.
Yeah, he was on second base yesterday. Manny got a base hit to center field. Profar stopped at third, and there was no chance that he was coming in.
Yeah,
he was just staying at third.
At a certain point, though, I guess you don't have anybody who's better who's going to replace him. And you got to be willing to let go of the defense if you want his bat.
Yeah, with Fernando going on the injured list, you got to have Profar right now. Matt Waldron is pitching tonight, so that's the good news for the Padres. Patrick Corbin is pitching for the Nationals, which would be good news were it not for the fact that he's left-handed. Here's some other good news. We have a chance for you to win some Padre National tickets for tomorrow's game, so stick around for your chance to do that. Tomorrow's game, by the way, featuring the Hassan Kim bobblehead giveaway.
Yeah.
If you're one of the first 40,000 fans tomorrow night, that's what you will receive. Grab tickets at Padres.com/tickets or stay tuned to the program. Your chance to win is coming up soon. Now, we've got another chance for you to win right now. Chance to win a trip to Las Vegas.
And I have an extra prize that I just found.
Gonna give it away now in Chris vs. the Fans.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself,
howdy do.
Now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know what you're in for.
Chris versus the Fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
Also,
all right. Let's talk at the same time because that's the way the show's gone.
Usually I take it.
It's been a disaster today. I mean, honestly. And there's no way to start over.
No.
Like, once it starts kind of rolling downhill, it's been gaining momentum. You're going to be qualified for a chance to win our grand prize, 2-night stay at the Fontainebleau, Las Vegas. Tickets to either Hootie and the Blowfish or Smashing Pumpkins. That's at the Blue Live Theater. Also $150 poolside dining credit. I like that. Summer room packages, tickets available now. FontainebleauLasVegas.com.
All right, the rules. And
No,
then I'll
I
tell
thought
you
you were
the
giving away
second
something
prize.
else.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now then. I'll save Chris from having to read that second part. Someone just said in the chat, which is accurate, worst lineup reading of all time, which was accurate.
Oh, I mean, but it goes along with the
I
show
said, I
today.
typed back, I said, if you're not following the theme of the show, it's been a dumpster fire.
Oh, come on now. Speak for yourself.
I've been a
Speak
dumpster
for yourself
fire.
on that one. I'm not going that far down.
I went to physical therapy this morning. I got the stitches taken out of my arm. I'm blaming it on that.
You're 2 weeks removed from shoulder surgery. You have every excuse to not be able
Thank
to talk.
You're right. You're right. My shoulder is usually where I go
That's
through to
right.
talk.
So, yeah, it makes perfect sense to me.
All right, the second prize is a 4-pack of tickets to Field of Dreams in concert on July 19th at the Rady Shell at Jacobs Park. Watch the movie with the Academy Award-winning score performed live by the San Diego Symphony Orchestra. Tickets are on sale now at theshell.org. That's kind of cool. I might
You know
go
who
see
wants
that.
to win that?
You?
No, my wife.
She likes the...
She likes the Rady Shell.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome.
She likes going to listen to music there. She also loved the movie Field of Dreams. Now, my wife is a good sports fan, as you know, but not, overly crazy about it. I'll never forget. We went to see Field of Dreams. You remember the last scene? He plays catch with his dad.
I don't. I'm sorry. I haven't
Okay,
seen
he
it in
plays catch
years.
with his dad. Then they pull back, and they have the lights of the cars are streaming into the stadium
Okay, yes,
to
it's
see
coming
the
to
game.
me. Yes, Shoeless Joe is there.
Shoeless Joe. Anyway, my wife is, I look over, she's bawling her eyes out.
She's crying.
Bawling her eyes out. Like can't get her breath.
Really?
That kind of crying.
It was tears of joy, right? She
Yeah.
was happy.
I don't know. I never been able to explain it.
I didn't cry at Field of Dreams.
She loved
I know
Field
that.
of Dreams. So
That is hilarious.
if you don't want these tickets, give them to my wife. She will love having them. Give us the rules and then let's get on with
Yes. The rules are you have to make it through 3 questions. Each question's going to get more difficult. If you get the question right, you move on. If you get it wrong and Chris gets it right, you're eliminated. But if Chris gets it wrong, then you move on to the next question or you win. Here
the
we
game.
go.
What about if you're a first-time
player? Let
Right.
us know before you get into it, and you'll get the first question for free. I will go with Christopher. Hello, Christopher.
Start
How are
there.
you?
Hello?
How we doing, Chris?
Hey.
Yeah, hey, Chris.
Good.
How's it going?
Good, Chris.
Are
sir,
you ready
good.
to play, sir?
Yes, sir. See who all my blood goes today.
Wait, say that one more time?
You guys hear me?
Yeah,
let's just play.
Okay, we'll play.
Sorry,
we have any
sorry.
more
No, all good.
I'm on the road right now, coming down.
Oh, don't.
Coming down. Yeah, Ramona. Sorry for the.
No
No, we
problem.
might get cut off.
No,
Okay,
we
let's
won't
try,
get cut
we'll
off.
get
Here we
going.
go.
Here we go. Who won the U.S. Open golf tournament last weekend? Or 2 weekends ago, I should say.
You there? Chris? Did we lose you?
Chris?
Might have lost him.
I think we lost him.
All right.
I'm going to put him on hold. Maybe we'll come back to him.
Maybe come back to him. Give it a. Give that
Did you like
question
how
to
I still
somebody else.
buzzed him?
You gave him a buzz anyway.
That was weird of me.
Yeah, it's all right. Fair.
Let's go to Tom and Mira Mason. We'll try again, Chris.
Try with Chris again. Tom, how you doing, man?
Doing great. Doing great. If I win, I'll share the tickets with your wife, all right?
You'll share with my wife. All right, Tom. I'll take that under advisement.
That was funny.
That was.
All right, Tom, here we go. Question number 1. I'll ask you. Did we say the answer? I don't think we did. Who
No,
won
we
the
didn't.
U.S. Open 2 weekends ago?
Bryson DeChambeau.
Bryson DeChambeau is correct.
Correct.
He's on top of the world right now. He's walking around downtown Nashville with his U.S. Open trophy on his side. That would be sweet, I gotta
Sure
say.
be nice if he was on the tour.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Question number 2. Jose Canseco's last season was in 2001 for what AL team?
Oh my God.
You said 2001?
Correct. What AL team?
Who did he finish up with?
I'm going to guess White Sox?
White Sox is correct.
Ah, it is?
I don't think you have enough time to actually look that up, but that is pretty good.
That was really good.
That was pretty good, I got to say.
Jose Canseco honestly stopped with every franchise on his way out the door. So very good of you to get
Very
that,
nice.
Tom.
Yes.
Nicely done. I bet my wife better start packing her bags.
She's going to
looking like
so getting the picnic basket together.
Yes, looking like Tom might have a winner here.
All right, here we go. Question number 3. Been wanting to ask this one for a while, but since your tickets to a movie are on the line, here we go. In The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh, what was the team nickname for the Pittsburgh basketball team that Dr. J and Meadowlark Lemon played for?
My God.
Oh, geez.
The fish that
The
saved
Pisces?
Pittsburgh.
The Pisces. Chris, you better watch your wife because he is
got
correct.
What?
Yeah.
Wow,
Tom,
you're unbelievable.
You got to stay there, Tom. I'm going to get your information in the break. Stay right there.
Good job, Tom.
That was pretty good.
I mean, that movie, I vaguely remember that movie myself, let alone know the name of the team in the movie.
I remember when I saw this question, I knew I had to
Excellent
ask it
job.
because we have talked about the fish that saved Pittsburgh on the show before.
Yes, we have. It was a Dr. J movie back in the day.
Yeah.
But it was kind of a goofy movie. I don't recall it, standing the test of time or anything like that.
I have yet to see it on Netflix.
I think Tom might be, I'm honest, I'm going out on a limb right now. Tom is in the photo for the greatest contestants we've ever had.
Top 5?
Yeah, those
All
were
right.
those were the last two were really tough questions, and he nailed them both. Good job, Tom.
I got to see it. Let me
Yeah.
just make sure.
I'm going to make sure my wife has got something else to do on July 19th.
You guys are out of town, right?
I hope so. Could be in trouble. Nice job by Tom there. Very good. He wins Chris First the Fans today. He also wins 2 4-pack of tickets to see Field of Dreams in concert at the Rady Shell. You will enjoy that, Tom. It's a great venue down there by the Bay, San Diego, as it were, which is where we were the other day, Scraby, enjoying a little birthday celebration for yours truly.
Hey, I got to say.
And apparently, now that I've turned a new age, I really just can't host a smooth talk show anymore. 'Cause it just hasn't been going
I gotta
our way
say,
today.
I was the one who was likely going to give away the location of your birthday leading up to your birthday.
Right.
But I did not, and I got to say, I am very proud of myself. Because
we probably would have had a pretty good turnout.
We would have had a good turnout for sure.
Yeah.
Do you want to say where it was?
Sure, we can say now.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, we were at Spiro's in Coronado, and we had a great time.
Yes, it was great. It was great.
We had a really good time in April, whose name I mention on all of our ads.
Yes.
April is the catering director and owner of Spiro. She takes care of us, and she is great.
Not
I mean,
only
that's what made for a great party. So.
Did she take care of us, but she took care of each and every customer, like singularly, like went person by person asking if they were good.
Some of my friends are a little picky, is what you're saying, and she was willing to take care of them, their own wants and needs.
Yes.
No, April did a great job, and we had a great time at Spiro's. So thank you to everyone at Spiro's. Thanks to everyone who got involved in Chris vs. the Fans today, but especially Tom and Mira Mesa, who takes home today's title. We'll take a quick break. More Gwynn and Chris headed your way.
From the 97.3
Hey everybody, it's Scraby here for SD Fat Loss, and like we just talked about, we went to Spiro's over the weekend, and guess what? when you are on the SD Fat Loss program, that does not mean you can't go out with your friends and enjoy a nice meal, because all you need to do is just know what you can eat and then pick something off the menu, and then they will prepare it for you. And I'm saying, like, if you want fried chicken, ask them to do it grilled, and then you can get grilled chicken. Those are all allowed by the SD Fat Loss program. I lost 40 pounds thanks to the SD Fat Loss program, and I would not change anything about it. I feel better. I look better. I am dealing with this shoulder surgery better. I'm eating better, all of the above. And if you are someone who is wanting to lose a little bit of weight, then you need to check out this program. And you can get $200 off if you say Scraby from 97.3 The Fan sent you. You just need to give them a call, get your free consultation, 858-665-3211, or go to sdfatloss.com.
All right, welcome back to Gwynn and Chris. What an impressive performance that was by Tom to win Chris versus the Fans today. Another edition of Chris versus the Fans coming up tomorrow. Also, still to come on this show, a chance for you to win 2 tickets to tomorrow night's Padres Washington Nationals game. Stay close to the phone.
Yes, stay close.
Scravy, do you know whose 40th birthday it is today, by any chance? 40th birthday today.
I know this. Hold on.
The young age of 40?
J.J. Redick.
That is correct.
Yes, I saw
J.J.
this
Redick
earlier.
is 40 years old today. Is also introduced as the new head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. J.J. Redick said, among other things today, the podcast with LeBron James will continue.
Yes!
They're now
Oh, I just hurt myself. I was so excited.
No, they're not going to do it.
No,
Are you
really?
kidding me?
Is that what you just made me hurt myself for a fake thing?
Yeah, I did. I didn't think you'd react quite so ecstatically.
I've been wanting this.
I was going to say they're going to do the podcast at halftime of each game.
That would be amazing.
No, they're not doing the podcast anymore. Said Redick, my goal, guess what his goal is as coach of the Lakers?
I would hope wins.
Win what?
The championship.
No kidding. And the last coach to take a job and say, my goal is to
be mediocre for a couple of years.
Win 35 games would be good. Get the number 1 pick next year. No, he says his goal is to win a championship. That's what he signed up for.
Okay, good.
So we'll see if that happens. I've heard a lot of trade rumors, rampant around the Lakers, though. I don't know if any of them are true.
What, like what? Oh, yeah. Over the weekend, tell everybody about what you thought happened.
The one I saw over the weekend, and it said it came from Woj. And Woj is usually right, but he said that the Bulls and the Lakers were talking about DeRozan and Zach LaVine basically for Anthony Davis. I don't know if I like that for either side, frankly. I don't think that's enough for the Lakers, and I don't think Anthony Davis by himself could do anything for the Bulls.
Oh, my gosh. Can you imagine? Sorry. I really hurt myself.
You are really having problems today.
Can you imagine the guy that you've been irked by for the past couple years?
If Anthony Davis goes to the Bulls, I'd be like, no.
You would have to watch him every time.
He drives me nuts,
game.
that guy. So I don't know, if they're going to make a trade or not. I don't think DeRozan and Zach LaVine, bringing them to play with LeBron's going to give the Lakers anything. I love DeRozan. I don't love Zach LaVine.
What's wrong with Zach LaVine?
He doesn't guard anybody.
Oh. Well, the Lakers are good.
And he's an inconsistent shooter. He's all right, but he's inconsistent. To me, he's not a knockdown shooter that you can count on. He's very inconsistent in my mind. He's a highlight reel dunker, but I don't know that anybody's ever won a championship because you have a highlight reel dunker. It sounds fun and it makes for good clips on the TV, but anyway, that's my thought. We'll see.
Wasn't he the guy that the Bulls were leaning on? Wouldn't it help for him not to be the guy?
Sure. Zach LaVine was the guy. He's not good enough to be the guy, and that's been proven in Chicago because they haven't won a thing with Zach LaVine.
So it would benefit him to go to a team where he's not the guy.
It might benefit him. I don't know that he being with the Lakers. If you're a Laker fan, would you want Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan if it cost you Anthony Davis? I don't think you'd want that. Anthony Davis is officially one of the top 75 players in the history of the league, according to, that list that was put out a couple years ago.
I can't say that I haven't seen that because there are certain times when I do see that, but...
All right, I'm not a fan of Anthony Davis either, especially on a consistent basis. But there are nights he puts up 30 points and 28 rebounds with 10 blocked shots and totally dominates a game. I don't see it very often.
Yeah.
Anyway, Lakers have their man, and J.J. Redick says he's in it to win a championship.
Makes me feel weird that J.J. Redick is just turning 40, so for about 2 weeks there, we were about the same age, and J.J. Redick is the head coach of the Lakers.
You guys are on very similar life paths as well.
I mean, if I had J.J. Redick's fame, I think I could do a pretty good podcast, let me tell you.
Does this mean anything to you? Lakers players who attended the news conference today were Spencer Dinwiddie, Christian Wood and Gabe Vincent.
Yeah, that tells me a little bit.
Like, where was anybody that's actually on the team?
Well, I guess I don't have an issue with it because it's not like this is a planned thing where like these things just come out of nowhere. They hired the guy.
I don't know. They knew the press conference was coming for a few days, I would think.
Yeah, you would think that LeBron would have his podcast co-host back.
Where's
Anthony Davis?
Where's Reeves? What's Reeves got to do with his free time?
I don't know, but Spencer Dinwiddie and Gabe.
Isn't Reeves the white mamba now?
I think he is.
Minnesota Timberwolves coach Chris Finch, last seen hobbling around behind the Minnesota bench because he had his knee ligaments torn out during the playoffs.
That's brutal.
Yeah, Mike Conley collided into him during the opening round against Phoenix, but he has extended a 4-year contract extension. Kenny Atkinson, do you know who he is?
He's the new
head coach of the Cleveland
Yes.
I always want to call them the Cleveland Cadavers because I always thought that was one of my favorite nicknames back in the day when they were really bad. Cavaliers are bringing in Golden State assistant Kenny Atkinson, next coach of the Cavs. Kenny Atkinson has been...
Why do I know his name?
Well, he sits right there next to Steve Kerr, and you just kind of know who he is. But he's been rumored to be a head coach 2 or 3 times in the past. He's been Kerr's top assistant since 2021. Anyway, that's some NBA news. WNBA news, by the way. Yesterday, I got to hand it to her when I got to hand it to her.
She had a great
Angel Reese got the better of Caitlin Clark with a brilliant performance.
Yeah.
26 and 15, I think it was.
Yeah, she had a lot of rebounds.
She had a big game. And the Chicago won. Here's the thing, though, with the WNBA. I don't know the standings by heart. I check them out. I know Connecticut's having a good year, New York also, and I think Minnesota. But say what you will about Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, and all these young players. Chicago, Indiana, when they play, that's the must-watch game of the season.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless of the fact that their records are in the middle of the pack or below.
Yeah, I agree.
Those are the 2 teams everybody wants to see play. And that was the highest-rated game. It was the highest-attended game. It was just, amazing. What these kids are doing in the WNBA, I appreciate the veterans, want to, them to pay their dues. But the veterans should also be realizing that their league is getting a whole lot of ink thanks to these players. It just is what it is.
Wouldn't it kind of be similar in some sort of way, like the players who played in the NFL in the 80s who didn't make nearly as much money as this guy, being all angry at the guys for making money now?
Well, these players are driving everything up. Interest, ratings, and guess what comes next? Salaries. It just does. If the league makes more money, the players will make more money.
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying you have to, give Caitlin Clark a big hug every time you see her, but you kind of do. Because, her and Reese and all of these kids are doing a great job.
They are.
And that's why we're talking about the WNBA. Coming up, if you missed the Padre news update earlier, it's not good news. We will remind you of what that bad news is when we come back ahead of today's Big Five. All right, Chris Ello, Tony Gwynn Jr., Matt Scraby, Gwynn and Chris, 97.3 The Fan. Bad news I spoke of concerning the Padres, Fernando Tatis, 10-day injured list. Hopefully that's all it is. But some of the reports are saying could be through the All-Star break that the Padres are without Fernando. That's bad news. So is this. Yu Darvish, scheduled to start tomorrow, coming off the injured list, will not be coming off the injured list and will not be starting tomorrow night. Adam Major will start in his place, as he has been doing. Jose Azocar was sent down today, replaced by Bryce Johnson on the roster. And Bryce Johnson will be in the lineup tonight for the Padres against the Nationals.
Johnny Brito was also sent down.
Yes, you're right. Johnny Brito was also sent down today.
Lots of movement on the roster.
A lot of crazy moves, but, through it all, the Padres managed to be a 500 team. For good or for bad.
All they need to do is just hang on until the All-Star break.
Okay.
Get the reset, and let's go.
All they have to do is hang on to the final week of the season and then win their last 7 games.
That's true.
And they would probably make the playoffs under those circumstances.
They do like the pressure.
All right. We like the pressure, too. But first, we're going to check some traffic before we get to today's big stuff in the Big Five.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center.
Finish this season with a better record on the road than they do at home. It just doesn't normally work out that way. I think the Astros last year were the last case of a team really being lopsided in favor of their road record. So I don't think it's anything different. Probably the one thing that stands out is that when you're home, you get to bat last. And that means you can hit walk-off home runs in 3 straight games, and the other team can't do anything about that. So, this is just, baseball finding its way back to normal. And, this is the most unsurprising thing of all is that the Padres are now 500 at home, 500 on the road, 500 in Korea, and 500 overall. I mean, that's just that's the story of this season, Tone, right?
Yeah, Tony, what do you think?
As Chris likes to say, water has found
Water
its
has
level.
found its level.
I'm trying not to say that this year because it really didn't work last year.
Well, I mean, I think they've proven it time and time again at this point that water will eventually find its level. And so I think that it's a good and bad thing. If you can have a 500 record on the road and so, start to play better on the road again, that's a boon, especially if you're going to play over 500 at home. And I think that formula gets you in the playoffs one way or another. You're above 500 at home, at 500 on the road, I think you're going to the playoffs. And I think that's a good thing. I think right now what has been most impressive is Padres are doing this dance with a lot of dudes not being 100% and banged up. And it was just the pitching staff there for a while. Now it's made its way into the position player pool, yet they're still doing the same exact thing. You're just hoping that once they get fully healthy, that this team really starts to take off then.
Good answers, guys, to a pretty lackluster question.
Number 4.
Well, let's talk about real quick the Blake Snell and the Giants stuff that's going on right now, because he was talking to the media yesterday after he pitched just an inning and 2/3 against for the Sacramento River Cats on Sunday. He allowed 3 hits, 2 earned runs while walking 3 batters. He didn't record any strikeouts. He is on the IL with a groin strain, and he threw 51 pitches. He was pretty frustrated after the outing, and he kind of sort of alluded to possible pressure from the Giants to return before he's ready. So he told San Francisco Chronicle's Shayna Rubin, quote, "I haven't felt like myself yet. It's just, we need you, we need you, we need you. It's not like, let's get him right, and I have to deal with it. I want to be healthy and 100%, and I haven't been. I've just been fighting to rush back, so that's my take. I'm frustrated with that, and you don't get the product of what I should be, and it's just frustrating. I want to go out there and dominate and pitch the way that I pitch, but it's more important that I'm out there." End quote. Tony, you're up first. Is Blake Snell right to be irked about the organization pushing him to come back?
I don't know whether he's right or not, but those of us who got to know Blake saw this coming, right? Like, Blake is he wants to compete. He in some ways he's a people pleaser, right? I mean, he wants to, as he's trying to make this call. But when you are signing this late into the season and you don't have a spring training, right? You are playing catch up the whole time. It's no different than what we saw with Joe and Yu Darvish a few years back. Or was that last year? Joe
was last year. Yeah, Yu Darvish was injured last year too.
But so, I mean, it's not even the injuries. It's just, World Baseball Classic. You're not, broken toe and, like, you're not getting the regular deal. You set yourself up to be playing catch-up, and that's what Blake is doing. I don't know that any great pitcher or not is immune to, not getting the right kind of work beforehand. And so, now I think he's suffering the consequences of it a little bit, and I'm sure it's a little frustrating for him. You also understand where the Giants are coming from, right? I mean, this is a division, a league that, you're still in it from a wild card perspective. And you made the big splash to bring him on, and you kind of need it. But at some point, though, I think Blake ends up being right on this, right? Ultimately, do you want him at the level that you've seen him at? Or do you want to just keep trying to push this thing and have him back as soon as possible? It may at the end be better to let him kind of go at his own pace, get himself ready, and then, come back and you can have a better chance of getting the Blake Snell we saw the last 2 years here in San Diego.
Chris, what do you think about Blake Snell? The question, but you can take it anywhere you want. Is he right to be irked about the organization pushing him to come back?
First of all, before you ask that question, I heard a really loud breath by you in.
Me?
Yeah. It was kind of like this. Chris and I just wanted you to know that I'm not the only one that breathes loud from time to time.
I'm going to have to go back and listen to
this
it
was pretty, I can understand why you're irked by that from time to time.
Right.
Yeah, and it really threw me, Scrape.
I had no idea. I just got reversed on this. That was pretty shocking.
Reverse the curse. I think the Giants need to be quiet. And it's not easy for them to be quiet. But in this situation, you have to just lay back and let Blake Snell get right. Because if you continue to rush him back or try to rush him back, then any negative results that he has are going to eventually kind of wind up back on you. And I think he's got that in his mind right now, that he's not ready, and they keep bringing him back, and he keeps pitching poorly, and it's going on his record, but it's because they're rushing him. I was trying to compare this to something with a relationship, a marriage. I don't have the specific comparison, but I will tell you this. There are times when my wife, I don't feel is 100% right about something.
Oh, where are we going?
Yeah, I'm going to just leave this really general. But there's times when I don't think she's right about something. I really want her to do something, but I feel like she's got to come up with the idea first.
Yeah.
Because if I'm the one that comes in and says, I think you should do this, it's probably going to be met with, So I think that's kind of where the Giants are with Blake Snell. I really think they just have to sit back, bite their tongue, let him come back so that he doesn't get to keep going. So that's kind of where it's at.
All right.
And buyer beware, again, when you're going to spend this kind of money on pitchers, no matter who it is, because, you couldn't get a better guy than the defending Cy Young Award winner, but, man, the Giants have really paid for it.
Yes.
There you go.
Moving on.
That's the way.
Moving on to number 3.
Number 3.
So we actually got 2 golf topics here in the Big Five today, but yesterday in the PGA Tour, they were playing in Connecticut. 6 climate protesters stormed the 18th green while the tournament leaders were lining up their putts to finish the final hole in regulation at the Travelers Championship, delaying the finish for a long 5 minutes, guys. It was really long. But the protesters, I will say this for the golfers, it was scary. The protesters came out from all directions around the green with waving smoke bombs and left red and white residue on the putting surfaces. But you could see the golfers kind of like, what is happening? This guy running through the bunker with a big smoke bomb. So they did arrest these people. They said no golf on a dead planet is what was on their shirt. So they're trying to get across that we need to do stuff about climate change, which it's really hot today. I don't blame anyone. But Chris, are these people actually getting their point across?
I don't think so. I'm just going to go back to protesters in general. To me, most protesters pick the world's worst spot to try to make a change. And, I'm going to give Jerry Seinfeld was doing his stand-up a couple of weeks ago in Australia in front of, tens of thousands, at some stadium in Australia. And protesters were screaming, that this, that, and the other, and the Middle East was the main topic of their protest. And Jerry Seinfeld finally fired back and said, you know what, you guys are right. If you just get the comics to come around, we can cure everything in the Middle East. And what he meant to say is, you're wasting everybody's time. This isn't the platform for it. This isn't the place to get something like this done. So a waste of everybody's time yesterday, kind of a scary moment for the golfers. If you have to protest something, do it in the proper way.
Don't ever throw a smoke bomb on a green like that. That was a prestigious green.
Having said that, my feeling about golf courses.
What about them?
We have far too many of them.
Oh gosh. This one's a nice one though.
Yeah, okay, well then get rid of one of the uglier ones nearby.
I can do that.
But there are so many golf courses, and they take up a lot of water to stay looking the way they do.
What golf courses do you play? I don't know many golf courses anymore.
You don't think they put any water on your courses that you play?
Maybe the greens. Tony, are these people getting their point across?
We're talking about it. We know,
yes.
We know what. We know what they were protesting, so I guess they are getting their point across. From a player standpoint, I've never had anybody run on the field while I was playing.
Yeah.
But I always felt like, that could turn ugly because I know if I felt threatened, I'm not going to ask any questions. I'm getting off the first shot. If you're running towards me and you don't have the right demeanor as you approach,
yes,
I've always told myself, we'll ask questions later. Now, and I've had teammates that have actually had this, and it's not been good for whoever ran on the
on the field.
On the field, because it's dangerous. You don't know. I mean, I'm old enough to remember Monica Seles being stabbed on the court, like that. I'm sure she didn't know what was happening as this dude was approaching her, right? Like, so.
For sure.
I mean, yeah. No, I mean, I just think that could be a very scary situation.
It can also be a very heroic situation if you are Rick Monday. Because everybody, I mean, this is way back, but Rick Monday, the rest of his life was heroic for this. It was in the 70s at a Dodger game, and he was actually playing for the Cubs at the time, and some protester ran out on the field and tried to burn the American flag out in center field.
Wow.
And Rick Monday raced over before ignition and snatched the flag and ran off into the history books.
Man, that seems a little bit more serious.
It was a little serious, but Rick Monday was, I mean, like I said, this followed Rick Monday throughout his life.
Well,
I mean, it still
Rick
does.
Monday.
Yeah.
I bet you he never had a bad Monday.
Not Rick. Not good old Rick. That was so bad.
That was great.
Let's just move on.
Not only did climate protesters storm a green this weekend, at Live Golf Nashville, Bryson DeChambeau was left baffled while standing on the 15th tee as Greg Norman stormed the Live Golf 15th green tee to tend the pin during the second round of Live Golf Nashville. Now, Bryson waved off the person because he said after the round he had no idea it was Greg Norman. But then once he kind of found out that who it was and everything, he was playing into it and he thought it was fun and he was doing the whole Happy Gilmore thing with the crowd. On the other side, you have John Rahm, and he was angry at all the drones flying around. He duck hooked one in the water, then looked up at the drone and said, "Are you kidding me with these effing drones?" And went off on the drone.
He duck hooked it first, and then he said,
"Yes,
are you kidding me?"
Yes, he looked at the drone. I mean, John Rahm, you signed up for this. I don't understand why you're so mad. Anyway, two very, very, very different personalities. Tony, which personality do you like more for your star golfer? The often angry one or the Happy Gilmore?
Ooh. Wait, Happy Gilmore. Gilmore.
Bryson DeChambeau's the guy who's encouraging the crowd to be loud and he's interacting with them.
That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe the hybrid.
The hybrid.
I would like a little bit of both. Like, there's some seriousness to you, and there's a time and a place, but you could also still get the crowd into some of them. You know, I think they're two entirely different things, right? You got a drone flying over you that, is making you uncomfortable, and then you got the crowd that's always there.
Yeah. All right. Chris, what do you think? Which golfer do you want?
I don't know. I'd like a good reason as to why I duck hook them. I never had to deal with a drone.
It's because of the drones.
I still do it. I don't really know. I like Bryson DeChambeau at the moment. But
too.
that's subject to change because he can probably go back to being the other Bryson DeChambeau quickly. I think the only thing I need to say about this is the protesters at the Scotty Scheffler event were at least smart. They didn't do their protest at the Live event because then truly nobody would have ever seen them.
I have to say, the original question for me was going to be, is Live more entertaining than PGA Tour right now?
It might be. I just don't, get to watch it and really know where it is and don't follow it.
Yeah, I see the clips is where I see it.
Right. I just need golf to get its act together. And until further notice, I'm going to be down on golf.
I don't blame you.
Number one.
But I can't believe it that I'm kind of a Bryson DeChambeau fan right now.
You like him
He's
now.
Been pretty awesome to the fans.
Keep an open mind. Things can change.
All that. As if he's not eating 7,000 calories. Remember when he was eating 7,000 calories a day?
Yeah, he stopped doing that.
He stopped doing that.
Yeah.
He stopped getting injured after he stopped doing that.
Yeah, I know. He was over there trying to be Incredible Hulk and was injured every tournament.
He was like, hold on, I need to put this peanut butter sandwich down my gullet right now. All right. Random question. I started watching some of the Olympic trials over the weekend for track and field and swimming and all of that, but we already know Sam Levitt loves his ice dancing and wants to be an ice dancer one day. So we're not talking
figure
about
skating. I thought it was. That's different?
Yes, it is, because ice dancing, you dance on the ice. Remember, Chris, I broke this down years ago.
Yeah, and you did a great job of it.
Which Chris, what is your favorite, and it can't be one of the popular sports. It can't be like basketball or track and field, swimming. What is your favorite random Summer Olympic sport to watch?
Summer Olympic. I had an answer ready for you, but it was the luge, and that's not in the Summer Olympics.
No,
so
it's not.
I have to come up with. Oh, I know one.
Okay.
That I actually, if it's on and they don't show it
stop.
very often,
Yeah, you'll stop.
I would pause and watch it for a little while because my interest is always peaked.
Okay.
The 50-kilometer walk.
That's a good one.
I love those guys.
That's a great one.
When they're waddling along.
There is
right?
a special hip, like, kind of swerve you got to have when you're doing that walk.
I will watch that for a little while. I can't say that I'm, actively rooting for the guy from Bulgaria or whoever it is.
But that's a great call.
But I'll watch those guys for a little while till they waddle around. That's what came to mind. I'm sorry, probably a couple more, but
no, that's pretty
I'm gonna
good.
go with one of the walks. And you know what? I'm calling on NBC to show a little more of that this year. You know, they show us the marathon. They show us all that. I mean, give me a little walking.
Give the speed walkers some,
I like
some
it.
airtime.
I like it, yeah.
Tony, what's your favorite random Summer Olympic sport?
And it can't be track and field, you said?
It can't be the popular ones. But you could choose a track and field event.
The javelin throw.
Yeah, javelin
throw.
Because there's a good chance for injury.
Yeah,
in the javelin throw.
We
Someone's
have
gonna get
seen
stabbed.
We have seen some pretty bad javelin
injuries,
finishes, if you will. Yes.
Yeah, javelin. That's a good one.
It's a good one. Have you ever has either of you ever tried to throw a javelin?
No.
I mean, not that you've come across one very often.
Oh yeah, I have one in my backyard. I just throw it.
I can tell you, I tried to throw one once, and I don't know how I ran into it, but I wound up to throw it like a baseball, of course.
Can't do that.
And I hit myself in the back of the head with the tail into the javelin. You can't throw it like that. It doesn't work.
That's really funny.
Yeah, so be careful if you ever see a javelin.
My sport, synchronized diving. I love synchronized diving.
It's not bad.
It's fun.
Not only that, those guys are on point.
I'm not watching the guys, Chris. Come on.
Either way,
okay.
they're on point.
All right, that's it for the Big Five. When we get back, we'll set you up for this game tonight between Chris's favorite pitcher, Patrick Corbin, and Matt Waldron next on 97.3 The Fan. Jeez, guys.
In a ballpark not so far away, the Padres host the Arizona Diamondbacks for Star Wars Weekend, July 5th through the 7th. Join fellow Jedi and cheer on the Padres at America's #1
Heading into the final hour or so here of Gwynn and Chris. Chris, hello. Tony Gwynn Jr. down at Petco Park. Tony getting ready for the broadcast tonight. He and Jesse have it for you. Padres and Nationals this evening. Pre-game show, Sam Levitt, 5:30. First pitch, 6:30. Matt Waldron will throw that first pitch for the Padres. Nationals counter with Patrick Corbin, a left-hander. I'm not going to go into any further detail about that.
I think
I'm
we
gonna
know
just
all
hope,
about it.
I just hope it all goes away.
Yeah.
Starting tonight. We got Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. They're going to get underway shortly down in Miami. 3-3 now, Edmonton and Florida. Coming up on the show, a look at some of the greatest Game 7s in sports history. What comes to mind if I say Game 7? Scraby, you got one?
Yeah.
You got a little time to come up with it. We'll do the trip down memory lane in a little bit. Speaking of winner take all, Texas A&M and Tennessee for the College World Series. First batter of the game for Tennessee, bottom of the first, Christian Moore. He gone.
Or the ball was gone?
The ball was gone,
Did he get ejected?
No, he gone. Ball gone. His 34th home run of the year.
Wow. Jeez.
The guy came in with a 1,200 OPS. And I guess he's pretty good.
Yeah, I think so.
So that gave Tennessee the lead. Peyton Manning is in the crowd, jumping up and down.
Is he?
For the Vols. Yeah.
He's in his favorite city, Omaha.
Omaha? That's right.
I don't know if he's ever actually
I don't know. I wonder if he's ever been to Omaha, but he's been there now.
Peyton Manning seems like a fun guy.
He does. I like Peyton Manning. 1-1 though. Texas A&M's come back in the third, and that's where that game stands at the moment. Coming up, your chance to win a pair of tickets to the Padres Nationals game tomorrow night. But first, we got to give you some Padre news that's not good. Fernando Tatis Jr. to the injured list. Now we're getting conflicting reports. Some people are thinking it could last until the All-Star break. Some are saying, no, he'll be back. You know, this move is retroactive to Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday was the 22nd. 10 days would make it July 2nd, basically, that he'd be due to come back.
Yep.
So let's just be safe. Scrape say he'll be back sometime between July 2nd and July 17th.
That's fine with me.
Let's hope that it's closer to July 2nd.
I did listen to Mike Schilt, and if you want to see the full press conference, you can go to Sammy Levitt's Twitter, @SammyLev.
Yeah.
And he was very quick to say, now I'm not saying that he's going to be on the IL until the All-Star break or through the All-Star break. It's basically a wait-and-see thing.
Yeah.
It's actually not his quad muscle. It's his, as Sammy would say, right femoral stress reaction.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that sounds very serious, honestly.
It does. But
anytime
I
you're
hope he's
dealing
back.
with your femur.
Hope
not
he's
good.
back sooner rather than later. Yu Darvish also, in some other bad news, will not be making the start tomorrow night. Some inflammation in his elbow going to keep him on the injured list a little longer. Adam Major recalled. We'll make that start tomorrow night. For the Friars, Jose Azocar was sent down today. Bryce Johnson recalled in the starting lineup tonight.
Yeah.
Fleet-footed outfielder will be in right field tonight for the Padres. Also, E-Guy, otherwise known correctly as Eggy Rosario, will be coming back to the Padres as well. He rejoins the squad as Johnny Brito was sent down.
I like E-Guy.
I do too.
I shouldn't call him E-Guy. I like
No,
Eggy.
you should call him by his right name.
I like Eggy.
That would be better.
I think that he can do some things.
He has done some things.
He has.
This year.
Yeah.
Unlike Ozokar, who was sent down. Ozokar, unfortunately, hasn't done some things.
Correct.
All right, real quick, Mike Schilt before the game today. The latest and some info on Johnny Brito.
Which I'm sure questions will be coming relative to Mr. Darvish. But let's unpack, the move with Brito right now. It's really when I say it's a positive move for Brito, Brito didn't take it that way necessarily. And when you go to the minor leagues, like, hey, this is great. But it is a positive move for the organization. It's a big picture move. Johnny's done a nice job here. He's pitched in a lot of different roles. But we also look up, and this is a guy that has pitched in a longer relief setting for us and done well, has the weapons to be able to turn over lineups. So he's going to go to El Paso as a starter and start to get built up and create some organizational depth. So that's a valuable thing for us and for him. And those are the moves.
All right, so that's the story on Johnny Brito, who, according to Mike Schilt, has done a fabulous job. But he has an ERA of 0 with the Padres this year. All right, I
don't necessarily want to fault Mike Schilt because he said it right there. Johnny Brito not happy he's going to AAA. Mike Schilt trying to be positive about it.
Trying to put a positive spin on it.
And I understand it. If it is for him to be a starter, maybe Johnny Brito wants to be a starter.
Maybe it'll work out better for him.
Yeah.
Well, nobody wants to be a long reliever. Nobody grows up and says, I want to be a long reliever.
I would take that right about now.
A lot of us would, but once you're in the professional ranks,
you want to pitch in like high leverage. You want to pitch in situations that are important.
Of course you do. All right, one more quick note. Joe Musgrove.
Yes.
What's new with No Joe these days?
He met with our guy Sammy Lev and others, and that just started when I didn't want to, but here it is with Joe.
Joe, what's the latest update on what you're doing right now?
Yeah, I'm back on the field throwing. Still kind of beginning stages of throwing. You take 2 weeks off. You got to, spend a couple days kind of easing into it. I think once I hit a certain point and, we feel comfortable about how it's coming out of my hand without any, lingering feelings, I think we'll start to progress pretty quick. Spending that much time away from throwing, there is, a bit of a window that you have to spend in the throwing process before I can get on the mound. So I'm kind of going day to time, just, checking boxes every day, making sure I'm progressing and not, slipping back at all in the rehab process. So
throwing being catch from like 90 feet?
Yeah. I think, the intensity is going to kind of be up to me on how I feel, but I'm going to try to, manage it for the first couple days. And then once I feel like I can trust it and feel confident about where I'm at, I'll start, progressing it. I think the longer distance is going to be more beneficial for me than, getting at 60, 70 feet and, really ripping fastballs. I won't need to be doing that until I get on the mound. So I think in this first week or so, it's going to be a lot of like stretching the arm back out, taking it a little easier on a slamming impact and kind of trying to reintroduce the throwing patterns, get the shoulder back to used to throwing. So.
I need Joe Musgrove back to ripping it. The way he said,
too.
Ripping it.
I like it too.
Yeah, it's going to be a little while, unfortunately, before we get No Joe back. But guess what? It's not going to be a little while before you have a chance to win a pair of tickets to tomorrow's Padres Nationals game. We're going to open up the phones.
Woohoo!
833-288-0973. I know you're all going to start dialing now, even before you know the question. I can tell you that's not going to help you get through because Gravy won't pick up your call until the questions have been asked.
It's locked.
Here is today's question to win a pair of tickets to tomorrow's Padres Nationals game. The Washington Nationals have won one World Series championship. It was in 2019. They took out the Houston Astros in a 7-game series.
That was a pretty good game.
It was a pretty good series. Who was the winning pitcher for the Nationals in Game 7 of that World Series? Who was the winning pitcher for the Nationals in Game 7 of that World Series? The first person with the correct answer to 833-288-0973 will win tickets to see tomorrow night's game between the Padres and the Nationals. Don't forget the first 40,000 fans tomorrow will receive a Hassan Kim bobblehead. Grab tickets at Padres.com/tickets. All right, unlock the phone lines now, Scraby.
No, we have to wait 20 seconds.
No, you have to do something because we're on live radio.
Oh, we're taking these on the air.
Let's go.
Oh,
let's
go.
Not
see this. I was unaware.
Give me a contestant.
Okay, hold on.
I'm ready for a contestant.
All right, hold on.
I'll roll the die.
Let's go with.
No. I'm rolling the die.
Well,
that's
some
the
of them
whole
don't have
idea
names.
of this.
Some of them don't have names.
Line 4.
Will.
All right, Will. You're going to get the first crack at these Padre tickets.
Hello, Will.
Will. Hello.
Righty.
All right. Who was the winning pitcher for the Nationals in Game 7 of that World Series?
Oh, geez.
I'm with you.
I just heard you say opening the phone lines, and that's all I did.
You got to answer a question. Do you want to take a guess?
Yeah. I don't have a clue.
He doesn't know.
okay.
All right, we'll go on to somebody else. Sorry, Will. All right, there we go. Get another fill in there. Line 2.
Rodney.
Hello, Rodney. You've now had a chance
Hey,
to hear
guys,
the
how are y'all?
question. Do you have a guess?
Yes. Do you have a guess, sir?
I do. Steven Strasburg.
Steven Strasburg.
Oh, you would think.
I would love it if that was correct, but he won Game 6 of that World
Rodney.
Series. He did not win Game 7. Thanks, Rodney. Who was the winning pitcher for the Nationals in Game 7 of the 2019 World Series? Next guess is line 1.
Omar.
Hello,
Omar. Hey, guys. I'm going to go with Max Scherzer.
Max Scherzer. That's a hell of a guess, Omar. He started the game, but he did not get the win. That is not correct. Wow. The Nationals came from behind to win that game. 6-2 was the final score of that Game 7. Scraby, do you have a question?
No.
All right. Line 1 again. How about that?
Elizabeth.
Hello, Elizabeth. Hello.
Hi, it's actually Ernesto.
Ernesto.
Okay.
All right, Ernesto. Take it down. Who won Game 7 for the Nationals?
That'll be Patrick Corbin.
That's right. It would be Patrick Corbin.
Nice job.
And he's pitching tonight. That is very good. Ernesto, you stay on the line.
Trickster, Chris.
Yeah, I'm a trickster. Patrick Corbin came in relief at Game 7, pitched 3 shutout innings, and got the win as the Nationals won their World Series in 2019. Ernesto got it. Stay on the line. You won't see Patrick Corbin pitch tonight, but you will see Mackenzie Gore pitch tomorrow night against the Padres. Pair of tickets to you. Stick around. We have a tribute to Game 7s when Gwynn and Chris resumes after traffic. All right, welcome back. Great job, Ernesto, coming through on that trivia question. Patrick Corbin, starting pitcher tonight for the Nationals. Better days when he won Game 7 for the Nats in the 2019 World Series. Matt Waldron will pitch against him tonight. Padres and Washington coming up. Pre-game show. Sam Levitt starts in about 10 minutes. Then Tony and Jesse take over.
They're back
on the broadcast.
They're back together.
Tennessee's taking a 3-1 lead, much to the delight of Peyton Manning in Game 3, the deciding game of the College World Series. Texas A&M is batting in the top of the 4th inning there. Stanley Cup Game 7, everything riding on it. Edmonton and Florida. Alanis Morissette sang the national anthems.
Yes.
And now they're about ready to start Game 7. Edmonton trying to complete a comeback from 3-0 down. Make a little history. Got us thinking of some of the greatest Game 7s in any sport of all time. I think this is the best. I'll start right at the top. I don't know if you were old enough to remember this one, Scrabe. 1991 Game 7 World Series. Jack Morris, John Smoltz dueling, and the Twins finally shut out the Braves 1-0 in 10 innings.
I was 6, so I don't remember that.
Don't recall it? Have you ever seen a highlight of it?
Yes, I'm sure I have.
The intensity in the Metrodome for that game was just like off the charts from the beginning, and then it never changed because no one ever scored, right? And it was one of those 1-0 games where every inning, it seemed like one of the teams would threaten to score and then wouldn't.
Yeah.
And it just kept going back and forth like that. And, you know, what Jack Morris did is not going to ever be duplicated again. Pitched a 10-inning complete game.
It's pretty crazy.
Who's going to do that nowadays?
Not many.
Nobody. Twins won, Braves nothing. 91 World Series, Game 7.
I have one.
Yeah, what do you have?
I think this is the Game 7 that came to mind first.
Okay.
And I just had to make sure it was a Game 7.
All right.
But let's see, where is his name? Why did I forget his name all of a sudden? Luis Gonzalez hitting the walk-off against
Walk-off single. Luis
the
Gonzalez
Yankees.
beat Mariano Rivera and the Yankees.
That was pretty exciting. I do remember that.
2001 World Series. Not only was that, something, the Yankees had won 4 straight World Series.
Yeah, they were unstoppable.
And they were leading going to the bottom of the 9th inning with Mariano Rivera on the mound.
The best closer of all time.
Yeah, but he made an error in the inning on a bunt. Rivera did.
I need to go back and watch some of these
Mark
highlights.
Mark Grace, the old Aztec, had a big hit in that 9th inning to help set up Luis Gonzalez's walk-off hit.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
So that was a good one. Here's another good one, 1992, again, just a little before your time, Scrabe.
They're starting to become memories
Yeah,
here.
Braves-Pirates.
Oh, no.
NLCS. Pirates led 1-0. 2-0. Bottom of the 9th. Braves scored 1, had bases loaded, 2 outs. And some guy off the bench, Francisco Cordova or something, Cabrera. That's it. Francisco Cabrera comes off the bench and grounds a single into left field. Barry Bonds throw home. Not in time. Sid Bream slides in under the tag. Braves go to the World Series, beat the Pirates 3-2.
Dang.
2016 World Series, Cubs-Indians.
Oh, I remember this one.
That was some kind of Game 7.
This one was a good one because it was the whole delay and everything in Game 7.
And everything, 108-year title drought. And then it looked like the Cubs had it. And then, what was it? Rajai Davis hit a 3-run homer to tie the game?
That's insane.
Kidding me? Cubs come back. They scored 2. Indians came back. They scored 1. Cubs hung on 8-7. Final ground ball went to third base. Chris Bryant over to Rizzo.
I got to think that
to end the curse for the Cubs.
I got to think that how much pressure is behind that one throw that you have done so many times throughout the year.
He threw it down the line is what you're saying?
Like, how many? That's so much pressure.
Here's another great Game 7 you'll remember for sure, although you didn't like the outcome.
Oh, is it the
2016 Cavaliers-Warriors?
It's a good series.
Yeah. right?
LeBron blocking that ball.
LeBron's block was the play they all remember. Cleveland was down 3-1. And Cleveland had not won a championship as a city in 52 years. The only thing that was really troubling about that is that was the 73-win Warrior team, that was supposed to finish it off with a title, and they did not.
They ran out of gas.
Well,
they tried so hard for that record, and there you go.
Is that how you look at it?
That's how I look at it. They didn't need to play any of their starters like the last week or two of the season, but they were
that had something
really
to do
trying
with it?
to go for the record.
Right. 1988 NBA Finals. People from my era will remember Lakers Pistons. Two really, really great teams. That was the end of the Showtime run. Lakers win that championship. 2000 NBA West Finals. Shaq and Kobe from 15 down in the fourth quarter beat Portland to go on and eventually win their first title together. That was a game that Portland should have won 100 different ways and did not. 2019, Eastern Semis, NBA. Kawhi Leonard hits the shot falling out of bounds in the right corner.
I remember this, yes.
For Toronto to eliminate Philadelphia.
He was at the game yesterday.
What a shot that was. Remember, it bounced on the rim like 3 times.
It did. It was one of those movie-type shots where everybody's staring at the ball.
According to this, that was the only Game 7 buzzer beater in NBA history.
Whoa.
I imagine it was.
I got a suggestion of 2003 World Series, Florida Marlins over the Yankees, but that wasn't actually Game 7, so never mind. I take it back.
Game 7 of that series was a boring game. Josh Beckett shut out the Yankees 2-0.
It was Game 6.
Game 7 of the 03 ALCS was memorable, though. Aaron bleeping Boone off of the late Tim Wakefield.
Yes.
To win the pennant for the Yankees. Anyway, I could go on with a few more here, but here's an interesting one. Bulls-Pacers 98 Eastern Finals. During the 6-year run of NBA championships for the Bulls back in the Jordan era, they were only taken to the 7th game 2 times. One of them was by the Pacers. Tony Kukoc. Remember that name?
I do.
Came off the bench to help Jordan and the Bulls eventually win their 6th title. This was a hell of a game. The 06 NLCS and Cardinals-Mets. I think it was Yadier Molina hit the home run to win the game for the Cardinals in the 9th. But prior to that, Endy Chavez of the Mets made the catch over the wall to keep the game tied. Do you remember this at all?
No.
All right. It was a great play. It didn't matter. Cardinals went to the World Series. They eventually won it all. This was a great game. 1988 NBA Eastern semifinal, Celtics, Hawks. You don't recall that. What people remember, Larry Bird versus Dominique Wilkins, the human highlight reel. Wilkins had 47. Bird had 34, 20 of them in the fourth quarter. Boston survived. 118-116.
What year was that?
That was 88. It was one of those nights, though, Wilkins scored, Bird scored. Wilkins scored, Bird scored. Wilkins scored, Bird scored. Finally, the Celtics prevailed.
I actually saw something on Twitter this morning that was about the finals that year with the Lakers and the Celtics, and I didn't know this, but I guess finals games were tape delayed before that.
Yes, they were.
That's
back in the
crazy.
early 80s. You didn't know that?
I did not know that. I thought they were always
How do you
live.
think I began my career as somebody who doesn't try to hear the score of games? It began with the NBA Finals having to wait until 11:30 at night to watch the games.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Why? I don't understand. I guess
because the NBA wasn't important enough back then.
All right.
They also didn't have enough networks to carry all this stuff.
That's crazy. That is crazy to me.
I'll give you one last one for the old timers because it is kind of the beginning of the whole Game 7 thing. 1960 World Series. Bill Mazeroski's walk-off homer for the Pirates beats the Yankees. 10-9 was the score, by the way, of that classic Game 7.
Those are the guys that I feel like go to Pittsburgh and they legitimately never pay for a drink ever again, or whoever hit
Bill Mazeroski?
Yeah.
No, he would never have to pay.
Exactly.
All right, the Game 7 that's hand tonight, Florida has gotten on the board early with a power play goal. They lead Edmonton 1-0, 6 minutes gone by, first period. Is Florida going to blow a 3-0 lead and then hang on to win Game 7?
I don't know, but
We'll
I will
see.
be watching this along with the Padres tonight.
It'll be fun to watch. They have a pretty good tradition in Florida also.
What is that?
Whenever they score a goal like that, everybody throws the plastic rats down on the ice. They come raining out of the heavens.
Really?
Yeah. It goes back to the Panthers team of maybe about 10, 15 years ago. And I think they had a player or a coach or somebody back then whose nickname was the Rat. And so people started throwing plastic rats on the ice, and then everyone started doing it. And it got out of control. But anyway, they just threw the rats on the ice. And then they picked them up. And then Edmonton just scored.
Just did.
So it's 1-1. And it looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun tonight. Game 7 in that Stanley Cup final.
I recently told someone that they used to throw, or still do, throw octopuses on the ice.
Yes.
And they did not believe me.
Oh,
I was like,
they didn't believe you?
I had to go pull up videos of it because they're like, that's not true. No one's bringing an octopus to a game.
They do it in Detroit, and the 8 tentacles of the octopus signified that back in the day when that tradition started, you had to win 8 playoff games to win the cup.
Okay.
So that's why they started that tradition.
That's disgusting.
It's a little disgusting, but hey, sports, man.
Dan saying, was it Kenny the Rat?
It was Kenny the Rat Linsman.
Yes,
maybe.
there you go.
Very good. Thank you. Who's that?
Dan.
Gotta go, Dan. All right, Stanley Cup Game 7. We'll recap it tomorrow. College World Series we'll recap tomorrow. And, of course, Padres Nationals. Coming up next, Sam Levitt's pregame for Tony, Scraby, Chris. Enjoy the rest of your Monday night.